wrapped around your soul with no control. You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I'll run, I'll hide. Darkness always clouds my mind. When I look behind, it's moving closer every time. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness is my old friend. You get me in at the end. At the end. Can you feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness, my old friend, you get me in the
What's going on, folks? Will Stewart here with another pre-match rant. How are we doing today? I've had a very long day. If you can see, I am a little bit sunburned. Been out all day. The young fella had a match this morning, so I was out for that, and I had to come back and mow the lawn or garden, or however you say it in whatever country that you live in. But anyway, yeah. So cool thing about us is I got this here. So little thing came in the email there saying 500 subscribers. Congratulations. Achieved on May 1st, 2021. Thank you guys all for that. That's grand. Got some folks in the background. Had to maybe have a couple other guests come on too. The link is tagged to the top of the chat. And our first guest to join us today my co-host for the bald and bearded Tottenham Boys show. You know him, you love him.
Cody Mac did it. Cody Mac did it. Cody Mac did it.
What's going on, Cody? What's going on? What's going on with the baby sharks?
So I jumped on the Tottenham Away show yesterday and Mr. K was there too, and it was a great time. But literally, like a Sheffield United pre-match preview show when we never said the word Sheffield once.
Yeah, so, that happens all the time, more than you'd think. But yeah, I was gonna jump on that show, but just as you guys were like, "Will, get in the back end of here," my wife comes home and she wanted to talk, and I hadn't talked to her in a while, so I figure I owed her a little bit of conversation time. And yeah,
is this your lawn? The background here is that
is actual... my grass. Yeah, that's my grass.
Looking good, looking sharp.
Yeah. It's my grass. I like to grow grass. You can't be a true-footed dad unless you can grow some grass. I would.
You would be ashamed of my lawn. It is nothing but dandelions and clover.
That's the way it was for this one too, man. I had to burn it to the ground, threw a bunch of fresh dirt and sand on top of it, and replanted the whole yard. So the front half, the back end is up against a wooded area, and no matter. It doesn't get a lot of sunlight in the summertime, and no matter how hard I try, all the weed seeds blow from that whole wooded area into the backyard, and it just turns into a jungle. So,
yeah. See, my lawn is the wooded area within the neighborhood. Everyone gets their lawns all nice and manicured, and then they end up infested with dandelions from my lawn because I wait for like 6 weeks to cut it in the spring because I really don't care about my lawn that much. It's not.
Yeah, the backyard right now is probably about knee high on me, and I'm 6'5", so I need to go out there with a brush cutter and clear it out. But
no, you got to get your son back there doing kick-ups. It'll be good for him.
Yeah, we actually used to make them mow the back. I tried to do it once. I killed it all out, planted fresh seed, and it looked good for about a month and a half after it first germinated, and then after that. I mean, it was all weeds all summer long, so I just gave up. Can't fight nature sometimes. But we've also got Mr. K in the house. He's our other bearded friend. What's going on, Mr. K?
Evening, morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is on Mars. It's been a happy day. It's been jokes in every single stream, I think. I think everyone's learned how to laugh again.
That's
honestly,
good.
Cody, your tweet, really. I think that was the breaking. That was a breaking point. Honestly, before that moment, we were all a bit, uppity a bit. We were a bit uptight about things, moaning about things, and it broke the ice. And within 24 hours, we started concentrating on this game. Fantastic, yeah. Guys.
The funny thing, so the tweet that Mr. K is talking about, I tweeted that we offered the Zagreb manager the job, and he turned it down. And he wanted to stay in prison instead. I've literally never had more than like 50 likes on a single tweet. And this is like pushing 1,900 likes. And you can see like they have like an analytics section on this tweet. It's been viewed by almost 160,000 people. It's freaking insane.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed that tweet. I heard about it in the Irish Hotspur show while I had it on in my headphones while I was mowing the lawn, and I haven't had a chance to get in there and check it out, so I have to do that. But, yeah. We got a lot of people in the comments here. The ticker keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We got the Wall Street Hotspur. He says, "Do you guys have merch now?" We do. You can see right here at the bottom of the screen, in the ticker there. You can go to THFCRants.com, and you can just click the link in the description. And you got some funny t-shirts. I got some other ones coming. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty hot one. I'm going to make a shirt. So we've got Man Smell. We've got hashtag Man Smell. We've got Enoch Out merch that I make no money on. It's priced at cost. It still costs a decent amount of cash because basically what it is, it's a print to order type company, so that you order the shirt, they print it right there, and then they ship it to you. If you're in the United States or the UK, it should be about a week shipping. If you're like Cody and you live a little bit farther out, it might take a week and a half. But to tell you guys exactly what my fourth shirt is going to look like, it's right there in that picture. The bun. I've already gotten permission from Danny to make a shirt just for the bun. It's not going to have his face in it. It's just going to be the bun, and it's going to say the bun.
I love it. I love it.
I'm telling you, that's going to be a bestseller right there. Just the bun.
Will, I sent you a message on Twitter. I'm going to send you some photos over shortly. All right.
That'll work.
I just wanted to see how you wanted me to send the photos, and I'll get them sent over to you.
What you got right there would work great. Actually, I could probably just, even if you just had that photo, I could just.
I've got a better one of that. I've got a better quality of it. Yeah,
that'll work. And then, yeah, because what I'm gonna do is it's gonna be the bun, and then you have to. I'll put your in small letters underneath it. I'll put your Twitter handle. That way, everybody who buys your shirt can go find you on Twitter.
Oh, brilliant! I appreciate that, Will. Well, that's gonna be amazing.
Can I get a shirt made just for my bald spot? Like if I grow my hair out a little bit?
Yeah,
it's right in the same spot. Actually, you know what? Danny and I should do a show together. The bun and the bald spot, and then we'll get a shirt with the two of just the back of our heads on there.
Now, what I'll do is I'll take your bald spot, Cody, and I'll put it in an 18-yard box, and it'll be the spot.
I think Cody. Everyone's coming out with all the brilliant ideas tonight.
Oh yeah, you know what? If I lived in London, I would sell Enoch Out face masks just outside the stadium. I would order 1,000 of them at cost, and I would sell them for a couple bucks profit or whatever. They would sell like hotcakes starting at next season, guaranteed.
That's actually a really good point. That's a good business idea.
Go to THFCRants.com and you can buy any hashtag Enoch Out mask. They're black with white letters.
Even better. Everyone needs to go to
we actually need masks of the Enoch. What's that ball set bloke going? Levy, that's it. We need actually masks of him, and someone just to freely give them out outside, and then everyone puts them on.
Yeah, just get one of those cardboard strap-on masks that everybody wear on their face. Yeah,
that's the one. Honestly, God, it's humiliation's required. Something. The strange thing is that everywhere in YouTube, I think Stellis was making this point earlier. Everywhere in YouTube, we see the streams. They talk about the situation with Spurs, and they're constantly going on about, it's terrible, like what the board has done, what Levy's been doing. We can't take it anymore. And yet, outside YouTube, there seems to be a little swell of support for them. I mean, I don't understand it.
Not even quite outside YouTube, inside YouTube as well. And even over here on this side of the pond, there's a lot of people that aren't too convinced about Enoch Out, to be honest with you. And that's been surprising.
I think education is required. Education.
Not even education. It's almost just kind of like you just got to. I guess it is education because let's put it this way. In no certain terms, I saw a comment of yours on a channel who was kind of sitting on the fence on the Enoch window today, Mr. K.
Could you remind me? Because today's been a long, painful day.
It wasn't a stream. It was an uploaded video. I don't want to mention the channel out. So your comment wasn't on the fence, but you commented on a video of a person who was kind of on the fence.
Oh. Yeah. I'm one of those guys that goes in a zone when I type things out. Could you remind me what I actually said? Because today's been a silly day.
I'd have to go find it, but I'll put in the private chat. I'll put the channel, and then you can know what I'm talking about.
Sometimes I type something and then I have to edit it and stop myself from going too far. Because I'm looking around and saying, well, I don't really want to put what it is, my initial instinct is to rant and rave, a bit like Brian. But I've learned over the years that if you're trying to gain momentum for people to understand something, you can't antagonize them too much. There was one for Ben and Sim, which I did. I think that maybe you're talking about that one.
No, it wasn't that one. I actually put it in the prior chat. You can see the channel that I was talking about. But I think it's just I think that dude's a great dude. I just think that he's maybe not as in touch. With...
No. There's been something that's happened recently. There, he had just to let everyone know in the stream. This guy, he's amazing guy. But there's been some issues with health and stuff in the family.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going into too many details now. Yeah.
Yeah, too much.
But yes, I understand. I think he's a great guy too. I think he's an absolute great guy. I just think that he's maybe not as well informed as maybe some of us who, because his channel he does a lot of stuff, but it's not very we're on streams like 4 streams a day, 7 days a week for it seems like, you know what I mean? So
to tell you the truth, Will, I actually came across his channel before yours.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. So
and to tell you the truth, whenever I needed picking up, I would go there.
He's a good dude.
And honestly, when I felt hurt inside, I would go there. And then I came across the Irish Hotspur, and then I came across you, and then I came across Brian Daigle. And then Daigle kind of converted me and said, no, let your inner demons out. Share them with everyone.
You got to exercise those demons. Exercise the demons. What movie is that from? Cody, you have to help me out.
I'm not a movie buff. Not a movie buff.
You're gonna make me Google it. Anyway, we are talking about can Ryan Mason make good for Tottenham Hotspur versus Sheffield United.
We're up against a B team, right? Sheffield United B team.
Yeah, they got a lot of injuries.
Yeah, they're B team.
If we can't beat their D team,
please don't hate me. I love.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I had some really bad mic issues before. I was gonna say their B team is the one that beat Brighton last week.
Yes. Ooh. The magical Mr. Potter lost to Sheffield United.
Yep.
B team.
Down and out Sheffield United.
The XG wizard himself.
He wasn't carrying his wand.
I don't understand.
I swear, Cody, I think you, me, and Will are the only ones who agree that Potter's not good for this club.
I don't think Potter's good for this club. I told you.
That's what I mean, yeah.
I don't.
I want to agree with that.
I'm actually kind of thinking to myself, you know what? I'm actually thinking a little bit.
David doesn't want him either.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, David hates him.
I think if you look at it, it's a Levy move if he does it, because he'd be working with what he's got. He won't talk out in the media like Jose did, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. He does try to develop players. He has actually a philosophy that he tries to play. His pressing game is good. He doesn't have the players to finish off the chances that they create. If he had a few quality players, then that would be a different matter. But having said that, when he took over Brighton in the first place, Brighton was, I think, 10th or something. Then they got to, and then they sacked Houghton, and that was like everyone's like slapping themselves in the forehead, thinking, "What on earth is Brighton doing?" And since he's taken over, he hasn't really done better than Chris. You know, Chris is one of our ex players, so you know, it's a bit of a shame that we don't see enough players of, you know, colour being managers in the Premier League, and he was one of the last few. And the way they got rid of him, like everyone was really upset. And then the idea was that Potter would come in and transform the team and give it some identity and style and push it up the table with some flair. That hasn't quite happened yet. They're still being, they've been trudging around the relegation zone for the last few years.
Yeah, so let's hire a manager who's been in a relegation battle for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, Houghton got them to 10th. Or was it 12th?
I know.
Something like that. He got them quite high. And they just let him go. And
So I think Potter in that case suits us. A relegation team playing good football. Brilliant choice.
Yeah. Look, Levy's working on something. We all know that. He's a devious git. But anyway, enough about him. We're more interested in this match that we've got coming up against the B team in Sheffield. And we're wondering whether or not, can we mess this up? No, I don't think so. I think our quality is too much. But anything could happen on a football pitch.
I think you underestimate us.
I think you might be right.
Telling too many of my secrets, Mr. K.
No.
This is actually a pretty pressure-packed match for Mr. Ryan Mason.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because
Sure.
we didn't exactly look good in the cup final, and we didn't exactly turn many heads against Southampton either. I'm wondering, like, how much credence do you guys give to the rumors that the players are not fit, that we have fat players?
I agree with that. I'll tell you why. Because the last two clubs Jose's been to, they've both times as a new manager's taken over, they've both said that the players are not as fit as they should be, and we've heard rumors and all these kind of like things going on about. There's been talk about players not being as fit, like they were moaning about Pochettino's high intensity and then high intensity training and stuff like that. And when Jose came in, they weren't doing enough training, and it's just like they just keep moaning no matter what training they do. So just don't be a professional footballer. That's what I say.
That's what Pep said today. He goes that a lot of the players that played today, they weren't comfortable with the fact that they didn't get to play in the previous game or the last set of games, but they showed their professionalism on the pitch rather than go to Instagram or leak things out or get the manager sacked. Professionalism. That is grit down. Show what you're capable of on the pitch, rather than going and bitching and moaning to the behind the scenes.
Yeah, and you know what? I've said this about Pep before, especially before Jose got sacked. Jose doesn't respect the players, and hence the players end up not respecting him. Pep respects his players. Look at the logjam of talent that Pep has to manage. Look at the myriad number of young egos that he has to try and keep happy and match fit at the same time. Why is it that we never see? I mean, there was a little bit of a thing with Foden, I guess, when he wasn't playing as much, but that was minor in comparison to some of the rows that have occurred between Jose and some of the players at Spurs. When you throw players under the bus like that, in today's game, where the players have more power than they used to, where the agents have more power than they used to, it's no surprise that Jose didn't get the respect. It has to be a two-way street.
Yeah, but if it's a two-way street, then the players have to kind of when Jose came in, he did show them respect. When our team started flopping, he still gave them respect. I think you said it's a two-way street. By not performing on the pitch, I think that's what loses respect in Jose's eyes. If you're not willing to push it in, we've always known this about our players. We always knew, right? So now, as far as an awful lot of media hype is concerned, we sometimes fall into the narrative that the media sets, and I've seen this time and time again. So I'm not fully convinced about this. I think to a certain degree, it's like if our players can go up against someone like Jose and win, it's a terrible day. I don't understand it. They're meant to be professionals first, but they haven't been acting professionally. I'm sorry, they got Jose, they got Pot sacked by Downing Tools. That's out of order. You talk about two-way street.
Absolutely. I'm not defending that. I'm just saying, like, how is it that Pep can keep 20 world-class players who only have 11 spots to play on the pitch? How can he keep them all happy the way that he does? You know?
Money.
Before we get too far into the woods, though, I'd like to throw in some comments here, and not some comments, but just kind of shout out some folks that are here tonight. We don't have a whole bunch right now. Our pre-match streams usually aren't as big as the one after one, but we had rootin' tootin' shootin' tootin' Putin was here. We also had, who else was here? We got the Wall Street Hotspur is in the house. Boys, what's going on? DM, is your son trying to go to be pro? Well, he would like to be. I'm sure most lads would, though. DP in the house says he's disappointed in you and Stelius Winks in the cell. So, haha. Who else is here? We got Wayne Bonner was in the house. What's going on, fellas? Hope you are all well. Alex Ray. Coach Diallo. Jason Groves, he's in the back. I'm going to bring him on here as soon as I get done doing this shabazz. Nabil Jamali is the I. Is the I? Do you pronounce the I?
Yeah, Jamali. Yeah, Jamali.
And then, come on, you Spurs. Yeah. Potter should be appointed. I don't think so. He looks like Ron Weasley to me, and I'm not excited about that. We've got two new guests in the back. We've got Jason Groves and Coach Diallo.
Hey, Will, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah,
before we get rolling on conversation again, I forgot I have to do this because these folks are paying for it. Right now it's only one. But remember, we've got Williams Rangers, patreon.com/THFC Rants, Spartan 7 Gaming. He's on the top tier ranter platform, working out 10 pounds or 8 pounds a month. And thank you for that 8 pounds a month. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. I have to do that. He's paying for it. So,
can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can.
Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Piping in on the whole Pep keeping his players happy. It's easier to keep players happy when you're in a team that's winning things.
Motorcycle.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
that was my bad.
I understand.
If you're a league-winning team, you can keep better players quiet because they're more willing to wait their chance to get in on it and still win some medals.
But every time that it's gone sour with Jose, he's been in a situation like this is the first time that he hasn't been equipped with money and had winning results, right? He's been in that situation, the same situation Pep finds himself in, right?
But
why is it Jose can't last more than 3 seasons while Pep can last?
Let's see.
Oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I think Jose's man management skills are terrible. I'm just saying in Pep's.
And I'm not defending the power that the players have exercised in getting him sacked. I think it's despicable. I don't agree with it at all.
Well, let's look at it this way. Pep has a world-class starting 11, and the same thing on the bench. If the players don't do what he asks, he has options. That's the difference with Jose.
That's the difference between Pep right now and Jose at Spurs. But it's not a difference between Pep right now and Jose at Chelsea or Jose at Inter Milan, right?
Wait, Inter Milan, what was the issue at Inter Milan? All the players loved him. They cried when he left. At Madrid, the president wants him back. So what is this revisionism?
Yeah,
Cody, we all know what.
Cody, the biggest problem we've got with Jose, or Jose has with the British press, right? Yeah, is they love to hate him. They wait for the first chance to do so, and they keep in the same narrative. Oh, he doesn't play youth players. He berates his players. No, there's been no evidence of him berating players.
Yeah, because look at Pep. He hasn't played at the level. Yeah, because look at all this. When Pep came, he threw Joe hard under the bus before he even walked in the door. He sold his old back five. Nobody said anything about man management. If you are forced to keep players you don't want, how are you going to manage them when other coaches can sell them? Pep sold what? Joe Hart and what? Yeah, Touré. He didn't manage them. I mean, nobody wants to be forced to work with the players you don't want to. And with Jose's CV, he shouldn't have to. What does he have to prove?
But he took the job at Tottenham. He knew what he was walking into.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, whilst you've got a point, it's like saying I walked onto the freeway and a car hit me. That's the car's fault. No, you walked on. You knew what you was doing when you walked onto the freeway. Like, he knew walking into Tottenham, he couldn't buy and get rid of all the players he wanted to. He would have known that.
I doubt that.
No, there is no way Levy said there's an open checkbook.
I think there may have been promises made before the COVID situation.
Yes, and plus all.
Shall we just leave Jose alone and just be done with? He's now signed up to Talk Sport and he signed up with the Sun. Let's just leave him.
I'll tell you what, he's made some hints though. Did you hear what he said about he's going to find he's going to find, and I'm paraphrasing massively here, but he's something about he's going to find a club and, one the right organisation or whatever.
Culture. He said the right culture.
Yeah, he was having a big old digger.
Do
you know what, Ryan?
Proper dig.
Do you know what?
He ain't wrong.
Yeah, guys. Also, I have one quick question too. Yeah, let's look at the Bale situation in what was it in Madrid. All the coaches that benched him, I didn't hear nothing said about man so-called management. It's ridiculous. It's only Jose that people bring that BS man management. What do people mean by man management? I mean, you have players that you like and you want. Do you want a coach to go and beg every player to do their job? That's not how you lead. You cannot lead at the whim of people under you. That's ridiculous. You can work with them, but if they don't want to, you cannot beg them every single time. That's just ridiculous. You got to think about it, all right?
That is true, yeah. But it's like what Cody was saying before. It's how nowadays players and agents have a lot more power than they used to. Like Stell from Tottenham away, so he knows people like because of what he does. He's academy. He runs an academy, football academy, and he knows people who in the head sort of scouting team at Tottenham and people like that. And people have been saying that a lot of decisions come from the agents in terms of, like, for example, the Sissoko deal and things like that. How if they see a player that can give them the right sort of deal in terms of financially. Like they can pay like, I don't know, $5 million a year for him, or it's cheap wages or something like that. Daniel Levy tends to go for obviously the deals which are financially better for him, but not actually better in terms of a footballing decision for the club. And we've seen that over the last sort of 10 years. We've seen that time and time again. And also what Jose was saying, like you were saying before, someone was saying before, how he's hinting about he wants to manage a club in the right structure. It's so obvious. It's also kind of if you look at Ten Hag, what he said right on the official Ajax website after he signed his new song.
I got it wrong. It was Tim Hag that said culture.
Jose said something about that.
Yeah, Jose said something about that in an interview recently. But Ten Hag said he was like, I'm happy where I work. I know the people I work with, and I know the vision of the club. Now that is literally an indirect hit at Daniel Levy to say, I don't want to work for you, mate. You got no idea what the fuck you're doing. You got no vision of the club, and you're going to have no transfer budget.
Yes, guys, you know what time it is. Intro by David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan.
Don't be a Levy. Get your super chats in right now.
I had to throw that in there, David, because the conversation was going. I knew it would wake them up. They'd be like, "What's going on?" And then bam, I'd be able to pull you in.
How are we all, lads?
Not bad, mate.
Good. That's good.
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 I'm all good, just chilling out, playing a few games of FIFA. So I said, why not? Come on.
Welcome to the party.
Good old FIFA.
So what are we talking about?
Right now, it's the same old usual, round and round and round. Levy's a git, and Jose is either got mistreated or he got everything he deserved. Toss of a coin. Toss of a coin.
We're talking about
the point is and other people have hinted and pretty much sometimes blatantly said, look, we don't want to go and work with Levy. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Look, the main thing with Tim Hardaway was this. He had an interview with Spurs. They spoke to each other. Apparently, according to one of the, what's that gentleman from Italy? He turned around and said that basically it was Spurs that decided that they weren't going to go ahead after they spoke to him, and then Ajax extended his contract. So I reckon the conversation went along the lines of, well, Ajax can extend my contract. You may have to pay some money. Levy said, pay money. That was it. Done. Nothing to do with that.
Mr. K, this thing is like a PR stunt from Daniel Levy. It's a Levy masterclass. It's like the manager turns him down because he's got no faith in where the club are going, no faith in their direction, no faith in the players, and then Levy turns it around and talks to his PR team and says, right, you need to get out there and say, oh yeah, we want to look for other managers because we don't want him. It's just bullshit.
I thought I saw a tweet today that was like, we turned down Potter, like Tottenham turned down or walk away from Potter. It's like 4 or 5 names or something like that.
This entire managerial hunt that we're on right now, it just reeks of, you can't fire me, I quit. Like every time that a manager says, yeah, no. We're just saying, oh, well, we didn't want you anyway, Meanwhile, like 30 seconds before that, we were just like, please come. Please, Ten Hag.
I'm still on my Cody Mack level conspiracy that this is all that they already have somebody lined up, ready to go, and that all of this press is just a way to distract the fan base from, Daniel Levy and his
do you know who the manager's going to be? Do you know who the manager's going to be? Ryan Mason. I'm telling you this right now.
I hope not.
Oh no! Please.
Well, let's see.
If he gets top four, Ryan Mason is our manager next season.
Yeah, I agree, David.
That would be a massive fucking mistake, in my opinion.
Of course it will be, but it's going to happen. Levy loves making mistakes. That's his specialty.
You know what? At this point, though, this point, the way it's going, it's not a matter of who we want as a manager. It's like, who the fuck will take us?
It's exactly.
You know what I mean? Who wants the job?
It's not possible to overtake. Look, we're on 53 points. Chelsea's on 61. It's not going to happen. So top four's out. So really, everyone, Liverpool, Tottenham, West Ham, they're fighting over
Leicester drew today. I mean, they're famous for falling off at the end of the fucking.
And Leicester and Chelsea have a hard run in this.
Jason, Cody's picture just held up is the best managerial choice we have right now.
You know what? Look, if he actually wants the job and he's keen, I'll take it.
Listen,
he knows how to deal with trash.
He knows how to deal with trash.
Support.
And he won't have a problem when we put him back in the bin at the end of 18 months.
But
so
Cody, the only problem is Daniel Levy will struggle to agree a contract and get his naming rights.
Yeah,
and Levy would want to make the lineups too, just to be safe.
Listen, if we get top 4 under Ryan Mason, build the fucking statue, man. Seriously, don't just give him the manager job. Build the fucking statue, because that would be the work of Jesus Christ himself. Seriously, there's no way that we are getting top 4. If he gets us top 4, I will take Ryan Mason for 3 more years. No questions asked.
Look,
that guy will be a miracle worker.
In order
I agree.
There's too many teams that have to completely mess up in a hardcore way. Chelsea is too far ahead, and their form is good. Liverpool's form is like the second best. It's like almost as good as theirs, if not better. West Ham may drop off. Who knows? They might pull it out of the bag, but it's impossible. Now, it's the fifth position. It's position 5 that everyone's fighting over. Fourth is gone. Let's face it, fourth is gone. Who can get to fourth? 55, 54, 53 points. Chelsea's really going to have to flop on their face right here. If Chelsea don't make top 4 right here, they're sacking their manager immediately. That's straightforward. And the players have just started to play. He's finally got them, passing silky passes around. Kai Havertz is finally starting.
To be fair, I'd actually disagree that he's got them playing, because the only time we started playing against Southampton was when Danny Ings went off and they had no focal point.
Exactly.
And we were absolutely a no-show against City.
So this is just in breaking news. Tottenham's new manager, and our new shirt sponsor.
Wankers.
Didn't he phone Jose and ask him managerial for football a year or two ago?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Right. I've got a conspiracy about all these managers that are rejecting us. I genuinely feel that they've all had a phone call with Jose Mourinho asking about what it's like. They've all had that call with Jose and his team, and he's probably told them, "Don't work for that bald-headed prick because he will ruin your career."
It would have been Pochettino as well.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're probably right, Dave.
Have you guys seen that video of Poch getting interviewed and he's talking about the lemons in his office?
Oh yeah, that's a brilliant interview.
That is just brilliant. The lemon, it suck up the negative energy, and sometime I have to change the lemon every.
He was an absolute he was kind of
when
a
Mr. Levy come, we have to change the lemon more often.
Yeah.
Do you know what, guys? I was actually listening to a podcast today that Harry Redknapp done. It was a 2-part interview with Harry Redknapp, and they actually asked him about Daniel Levy and that, and he said Daniel Levy's not the problem; it's Joe Lewis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's called Marvin Herbert. He usually does gangsters now, but for some reason he had Harry Redknapp on. And
same difference.
When they asked him today, he literally said, "No, look, Daniel Levy's not the problem. It's all Joe Lewis."
I'm not surprised by that. Do you know why? Because he is the one. He's the biggest string puller in the whole club. Daniel Levy is the face of Joe Lewis.
Yeah. He was saying that Joe Lewis has no interest. He probably goes to about a couple of games a season, if even. He says that Joe Lewis is the main problem and Daniel Levy isn't. Daniel Levy is actually trying to make Spurs successful, but Joe Lewis is kind of holding back on it all.
The problem is, I agree with you, Dave, because the way it looks, right, is that if they say what they say is true about Levy, about he used to be a Spurs season ticket holder and all this kind of stuff. If you look at the way Levy's run the club in the last 20 years, he's trying to make a self-sustaining business, like make profit and work, and then try run the club in that way, because he's got no support from Joe Lewis, because he doesn't give a fuck about the club. Because if he did, he would have invested in the team when he should have. Because it's not Levy who's got the billions; it's Joe Lewis.
Yeah, so but it's like that thing, isn't it? They employ Levy to take all the slack.
That's exactly it.
They pay him to take all the slack for everything, and why they sit back and their name isn't mentioned.
I can tell you one thing. Brian Daigle is going to have to write a long-ass apology to Daniel.Levy at TottenhamHotspur.com. Mr. Levy, I'm so sorry.
Did he send over them videos?
No, not yet.
He's trying to. Yeah, he's going to compress them and send them over.
Wait, but did you guys hear about the new show that Joe Lewis is appearing in?
What?
Yeah, like I've seen
Here we go.
I'm serious. Like Joe Lewis is starring in a new movie. Weekend at Bernie's 2 with Joe Lewis.
Look, this is confusing because I spent some time not liking Levy because what happened with Poch and so forth. I could see it happening. It didn't get backed and so forth. And then I came across people telling me that Levy's a really nice guy, that he's done a lot of nice things, and he loves Spurs. So I started thinking, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I got it all wrong. And then I came across the Irish Hotspur, and I thought, no, I was right. He is a bastard. And
Well, Levy's still made some questionable decisions, though. I mean,
Oh yeah, 100%.
like it's on him, surely. Like the lack of discussion with the fans with this whole Super League thing. Like I was listening to the Fighting Cock podcast, and they were talking to the Spurs Supporters Trust.
Yeah.
Right, and like Tottenham just fucking basically lied to them. Do you know what I mean? About that whole thing. And like, you know, and then Tottenham wanted to meet with them, but they said basically it would all be off the record. This was after the whole Super League thing came out. And they're like, no, at this point, there's no off the record. Like, if you're meeting with us, it's on the record because like shit needs to change. And
speaking of the Tottenham Sports Trust, actually, we all need to join that.
Yeah.
No,
Didn't Bobby join up recently?
Not sure.
He did, yep.
Yeah, I think he did, didn't he?
I think he did. He said he did. How do you even join? You just sign up? Do they have a website or something, or what?
Yeah, you sign up.
Like
someone was telling me because they signed up yesterday. I think it's €12 a month or something like that.
That's not bad.
It's worth it.
15 bucks.
So we should all, if we all get spare funds, we should all sign up to that. At least then, you know, we'll know exactly what the fuck is going on. You know.
Yeah, we'll know more. Yeah, it's true.
Well, as much as they do, which.
Yeah.
And the reason they were saying that they put out that strongly worded like statement is, and the reason they feel that the damage is kind of irrevocable with the board is because
the board hasn't been telling them anything.
Right, and what they have told them hasn't been quite. They didn't exactly lie, but they didn't exactly tell the truth either. You know what I mean?
Didn't tell them anything.
Well, they told them some. And then like the trust told them as well. They said, "Look,
we don't
think the
like
fans
to talk
are gonna
about
go for
hypotheticals." That's what they said to the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust. We don't want to talk about hypotheticals. That's what they told them when they were talking about the Super League.
When they were telling them, "Look, we know the fans aren't going to like this," and they're like, "We don't want to talk about hypotheticals, but we'll take this on board and this sort of thing." And it was basically like you didn't take fuck all on board.
Yeah. I read the statement, and it was quite damning against the board. Very, very damning. They said, "Listen, you know what? You guys are." I mean, it was the strongest statement I've ever seen. Like literally, they said, "Go on."
Well, when you bear in mind, our supporters trust actually is very well respected amongst the other supporters trusts. Like they're in good standing. Do you know what I mean? Like they had a good dialogue with the club.
The question is, the real question is, and I think we all know the answer is: do the board and do ENIC really give a shit about a fucking letter from the supporters trust?
Oh no. Fuck no. Of course not.
Exactly. That's your answer. So nothing will happen because the only way we can, like me and Dave and Cody have said it and Will said it, the only way to cut them off the legs is by boycotting the games, stop buying merchandising, and try and get this word out to all Spurs fans across the globe to stop paying for anything services related to watching Spurs or whatever. Just or do you know what I mean? Like merchandising. It's the only way it's ever going to change. Because they don't
If you don't want to buy merchandise from the club, buy Will Stewart's merchandise.
Exactly. Bang on, Dave. Bang on. That's how you say it.
But the bun shirt is going to be killer.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to get one, Will.
Oh, look! It's all smoke and mirrors. It's like it's ENIC, it's Levy, it's the board, it's the Grinch. It's all going around. I don't care. They're scum. They prove themselves to be scum. And now all of a sudden there's a PR move. There's manager got roundabout. People talking about this. Then the Ryan comes in. It's all smoke and mirrors, distraction and hype, pure and simple. And then they try to sow in the seeds of doubt, left, right, and center. Whoever they've got working for them behind the scenes, they must have some PhDs in psychology. honest to God, because they confuse the crap out of the fan base so much that we don't even know if that's our shadow that we're looking at.
They got a PhD in idiocracy.
That too.
I mean, if you sack the manager with no replacement in mind or no replacement nailed down, that just seems like a fucking smart move right there. You know what I mean?
Oh, Daniel Levy's full of them, isn't he?
Well, you're interesting you mentioned that, because that's the thought which I had today, which I was hearing as well. It's like the difference between glory and money. When you have a choice between grabbing the glory or grabbing the money, this club has proved time and time again from their actions that they're willing to sod the glory and grab the money.
But the money is their glory, isn't it? Really, they're an investment firm.
Exactly that.
For them, it's glory, which is money, but that's only singular. There's very few people can share in that glory. The rest of us, we
the
want
owners
to see
of the
a
investment
trophy,
company.
we want to see a title. You know, that's our glory. You know, the memories you get from one football match, they can last you a lifetime. But can you put money to that? That's how Levy's thinking. How can I make money from that feeling, that expression? And the answer is he can't. So therefore, you know, they want something that's real, tangible in their hands.
I mean, in a way that, and I'm not knocking you, but in a way, Levy's talking out of his arse if that's his point of view, because it's no coincidence that the biggest clubs in the world are the most successful.
Oh, you know what?
Like, or am I wrong?
Yeah,
No,
you're right, because they invest. They actually invest on the pitch because they want to win things. But it's like
and the result of winning things means you get more eyes, which means you get more fans, which means you sell more merchandise, you get more power, you get more money. Like,
so can I say something as well, right? I work in the technology sector, right? But I work for our main clientele are private equity and hedge funds, right? So massive investment companies. Now, I was asking someone the other day, this week actually, at work about this whole situation at Spurs. They're not a massive football fan, but they're a big investment banker, right?
Yep.
So I said to them on a financial point of view, I asked them the question, right? So if you buy a company for 22 million, right, which is what Enick bought Spurs for when they took over, and you turn in 20 years, you turn the business into this business into a business that could potentially earn 300 to 400 million a year. If they've, and I use this example, if they, I basically said, if it comes to like winning trophies or making more money from an investment company point of view, what would they do? And he said, well, what do you think? And he basically said, they don't care about the trophies. They just, all it is money. And you have to look at it like that, because that's what investment companies do. All they do is invest in things, and they want it because they see a potential in making money, and then they can make more money by growing the brand as how they've done it. And that's what they care about, because if you saw it 20 years ago or 15 years ago, even 10 years ago, everything they've done is to build this portfolio, build this brand, so that they can make more money. Why do you think they built the first stadium in the world with a retractable pitch and with an NFL pitch on it? It's so that they can hit a wider audience. Why do you think they want music concerts, boxing matches? No other stadium in England does that, apart from Wembley, right? So everything that they do, it's all for money. Everything. They don't care about winning trophies. Like if you go to Joe Lewis and say, "Oh mate, if you give us 100 million, right? If you give us 100 million to invest in team, we could win the Premier League." He's going to go, "Well, what's that going to do for my bank balance? What's that going to do? I'm going to lose money. I'm not going to make money. Yeah, I might make a little bit more money in terms of the prize money, but if I can go to like the ESL or something like that, I can have guaranteed money." They don't give a shit about trophies, because if they did, they would have invested a long time ago.
Agreed.
Therein lies the problem.
Invest that much. Just 5 million here extra, 5 million there extra, and that's been proven time and time again.
Yeah.
Look, okay, I stand corrected. Levy is a that, and Enoch is a that. Thank you. My belief has come back now.
It's both of them because Levy has been employed by ENIC, right? But he's also got a share, a big share hold in ENIC, right?
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 29-30%, something like that. And the thing is, the problem is there's like you said, like some guys have said tonight, that they use Daniel Levy as the face of ENIC, right? Because Joe Lewis doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't invest in the team. Daniel Levy is left to do everything, run the whole business, basically, right? The Tottenham Hotspur business. Because Joe Lewis has got other adventures that he invests in, and he's got other things that he pays more attention to. But in terms of what he's done for Tottenham as a business, he's done miracles, is what a lot of people would say, because he's turned something from 22 million pound investment into something that's worth now potentially £2 billion as a whole, if they were to sell it. So when you look at it from that point of view, as an investor, that is unbelievable. That is unbelievable work. But again, it's just forgetting the football side. And that's the one thing that us fans care about more than anything. And it's just,
I don't think any business out there would be able to kind of have done that without a loyal fan base. So I think
but what they've done is they've been smart about the whole thing about having a football club, because they've basically used the fans and the fan base, right, and the media to grow this brand so that they can make more money. That is what they've done. Why do you think Daniel Levy is the only owner, right, or the only chairman in the Premier League, right, who had not even said sorry to the fans about this ESL thing? And if you look at this thing, right, if you look at it as well, we haven't officially withdrawn from it. All we've always stated is that we're doing the procedures to withdraw from it. Nothing has changed yet. Nothing has been withdrawn. And it's the same for all of the clubs. None of them officially withdrawn yet.
Yeah, it was all that they were only preparing the papers to get out.
Exactly. People think it's going to go away. It's not going away. I'm telling you this right now. And I think Will probably might agree with it. But something is going to happen, whether it's the ESL or not. Something is going to change where these clubs are going to be allowed to make more money. Whether it's having an agreement with UEFA and FIFA so that everyone can make more money, especially, and the Premier League as well. But whatever happens, something is going to change and these clubs are going to earn more money, because until I see like official statements from these clubs to say, yeah, we've officially withdrawn from these plans or stuff like that. Because I mean, we know Florentino Perez is obviously the leader of this ESL stuff, but he keeps saying that none of the teams have officially withdrawn, and he said that they're going to put it on hold and they're going to change plans, and they've delivered it wrong, and they're going to look to deliver it in a different way when new plans come out. But they haven't stated when or what kind of plans. But something's going to happen. I'm telling you.
Okay, Danny, let's conclude from what you've just said in the last few minutes that money rules football. Money rules the game of football. Okay? Yeah. You tell me, if we, the fans, are enabling this to be the issue, if we, as Tottenham Hotspur supporters, like you're saying, if we want to affect change at the board level, if we want to affect change at the ownership level, if we want to affect the behavior of the people who have power over the decisions of Tottenham Hotspur, who is to say, let's say hypothetically that everyone and their dog who supports Tottenham Hotspur decides that, well, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this massive conglomerate money-making entity anymore. I'm gonna go and support Norwich City. Norwich City would just become the new Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
So how is this an issue that we can actually tackle as fans of football? You know, how is it? Because I'm not going to sit here and profess that I know much about how the Bundesliga and League operate, in that PSG and Bayern Munich, you know, they have the 50+1 or whatever.
Yeah.
But how is it that how are the fans going to wrestle football back from the money men that now can control it, that now have such a death grip on the sport that they are able to do things like this ESL?
You know why that is? Sorry to interrupt, Cody.
Go ahead.
Just stood up there. Ivan Toney He says Spurs are now linked with Ivan Toney. You know why that is? It's because Daniel Levy watches my stream, right? There's 32 of people on YouTube, and there's that one person on Twitch. So I'm telling you, it's Daniel Levy, and he just sent me over. He just sent me over. The way that they're going to make money for this season is Weekend at Joe's.
Oh my days! This is the reason why I come onto the show. This is the reason.
Cody, to answer your question, right? You kind of answered it yourself, right? The way to tackle these money hungry, powerful people is by cutting them off, like I said before, where it hurts them the most, is the money. And the way to do that is by fans around the world, whether it's the Premier League or not, they have to stop buying merchandising, boycotting games, because they have to protest constantly. But it's not going to be one protest. It's got to be every week. It's got to be no fans in the stadium. It's got to be no merchandise being bought. And that's got to be the only way it's going to ever change is if the whole fan base, not just in England, for example, for English clubs, but globally, fans have to unite and fans have to do this together. Otherwise, it's never going to change.
So, do you think that's viable?
No, not at all.
So, football is money from here on out, and for as long as it has been money, it will be money for forevermore.
Yeah, you have to look at the way that football has changed in the last 20 years. And I'm not just talking about Tottenham, right? I'm talking about football as a whole. If you look at the money that's invested into teams nowadays, and you've got teams like Man United who in the last, 5-10 years have invested £500 million. You've got Man City, was it 600 million or something like that? Like 20, 30 years ago, teams couldn't afford those kind of money because there was no such thing as these massive TV revenue deals and all these kind of things that on a global scale that is there right now. There's a bigger audience now. It's also down to how society is and how things are nowadays with social media and things like that. It wasn't as big as it was now, and people and these businesses can see of how they can make more money, because you have to look at it, right? These players are huge assets to teams, right? You've got players, for example, Harry Kane, right? He's worth, to Daniel Levy, he's probably worth about 175 million pounds. That is a huge asset for a club, right? And on a global aspect. So
he says
how
he just messaged me. He's going to get 200.
Like how can clubs nowadays afford players, right? So let me give you an example, right? So Jimmy Greaves, he was the first English player to go abroad, right? When he went abroad to, was it Juventus or was it Inter or one of those teams? I can't remember. But anyway, he went for due to tax reasons as well. Then he went for £99,999, right? Now look at where the game has evolved since Jimmy Greaves' days in the 60s to now. You've got players who are going for 200 million. Why is that? It's because of how things are nowadays. How much money is involved in the football, because football is now a business. It's not for the game anymore. It's a business. It was kind of like it before in the 60s, but not on this kind of scale. So the way it's going, it's going to keep going like this. It's not going to go backwards. It's going to keep going forward unless the governing bodies and all people in football start putting restrictions on what people are allowed to spend and what they're allowed to give for wages, put wage caps on every league in the world. Like, I can't see that happening. There's too many legal aspects to it, which is why they can't do it in certain countries. But for me, yeah, it's just going to keep going like that. I don't know what you guys think on it, but it's sad, man.
I think I have a solution. Danny, do you know what this is?
An egg beater?
This is a scalp massager. And whenever you're feeling stress, which is what, this conversation is inducing with me, that's all you do is you just rub it on your head like that, and it just makes everything feel so much better. Why would you have one? You can't. This thing would never get through a bun. Come on now.
Yeah. Your scalp.
When the bun is down and resting.
The smaller version, you got two of them, and they go from the down and up. But Danny, the bun has a point. Basically, the top teams now, in order for them to win something, they will throw money at the situation. And as a club, we may have grown financially, We may have grown our fan base tremendously, to global brand. We may have got Lady Gaga to come and, want to sing here. And we've got some people throwing an oblong ball everywhere. But the main thing is this. We're not the type of club that's going to spend the money like the other teams are in order for us to win something. The glory for the fans is to win a cup or a title. And that is not, in order for you to make that happen, you have to do something. And if the teams around, if the competition around you is saying, well, in order for us to win it, we spend X amount. Oh, look, we won it. And another team goes, in order for us to win it, we spend X amount. Oh, look, we won it. And then there's Levy going, well, we're going to spend pittance. Oh, we didn't win it. We're going to spend
Mr. K.
Yeah.
I want to add something to that, right? Because I agree with what you're saying. But if you look at, so the first person in football in England, right, to kind of bring this kind of money orientated sort of fashion to England was Abramovich, right? He was the first one of his kind to kind of invest hundreds of millions into a football team, right? Because what he did. Let me finish my point. Hold on. Let me finish my point. So he came in, right, because he's got more money than sense, and he wanted to win things in a football. He wanted to make a club like a massive European club, and he wanted to win trophies. You saw what it meant to him when they won the Champions League. He was like, we finally achieved what I've always wanted to achieve, right? He's won everything at Chelsea. He's won everything, right? Then you've got the people like who bought, you've got two states who have bought Man City and PSG, right? And because again, these people, they haven't got anything else. They've got other businesses where they make their money, but they wanted something on a personal level to feel accomplished. And they turned to football to invest in teams so that they could go and win trophies, right?
But listen, Danny, here's my. I agree with you that is one formula, but before that formula came about, before we started selling our players to Real Madrid, who were we selling our players to? Manchester United. So Manchester United, they were spending money on us, and they were buying our best players. Look
because they're the biggest club in England. They're the biggest team in England. They can buy who at that time. They could buy who they wanted.
No, but the point was that it was already there. There was already a hierarchy of top clubs buying the best from other teams. So whenever Spurs got to a point where they threatened the top four, one of those teams at the top would come along and say, okay, we'll take that person that you've got that's going to threaten us, and we're going to put him on our side.
Yeah.
Right? So they used to snip us at the knees every time. And when Levy was around, what he did, was he said, well, if you're going to take our best players, then I'm going to get the most out of you. And he did the dirty on us, right, just before Redknapp came in, where on the last day of the transfer window, he sells Berbatov.
Yeah, I know.
That was the most disgusting thing. Imagine the manager at the time was Ramos, right? Yeah, he's sitting there going, right, I'm going to start the season. I've got a striker. Oh, guess what? I've got no striker now. I'm supposed to do something this season with no friggin' striker. And then what did Levy do to Ramos after that? Did he turn around and say, oh well, you got no striker, or you poor thing, you're doing badly in the league?
Yeah, sacked him.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll sack you.
Right, so but in Levy's defence, though, he did then after that, a few years later, said we're no longer going to sell our biggest players.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah,
and he has stuck to that. Like he has not sold a player he did not want to sell.
A few years. Which was the last player that he sold? And then
Kyle Walker.
Said, right.
Kyle Walker.
Right.
Yeah, but Kyle Walker. No. Get it straight. Yeah. Kyle Walker wanted to go.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Get it right. Kyle Walker. Yeah,
I agree.
After that, right? But has he sold Kane?
Even Modric wanted to go.
Right, that's what I mean. He hasn't sold a player that just because he has to sell the player.
No, I agree.
He made that statement, and he has stuck to that. Like,
no, I completely agree.
Kyle Walker come in and he wanted to fucking leave, which is why he didn't get played anymore after he put that.
No, but at the end of the day, let me explain something here, about Levy, How much does he pay his frigging players, and what type of contract does he give them? Right? When Kyle Walker went, he didn't say, oh, I want to go and win trophies. He said, no, I want to stick another 0 at the end of my wages. And literally, that's what happened. There was another 0 put there. When Tanganga, when Jaffat, right, yeah, burst onto the scene and they said, okay, how much are you getting paid? £1,000 a week. Oh, I'll tell you what we do. We'll give you, I don't know, £5,000 a week, right? What happened then? The media, some of the people in the media said, are you joking, you tight-fisted git? And then he had to put the wages up on it, right? So Danny Rose turned around and said, this is jokes. He is paying us frigging peanuts and we're getting top 4. And guess what happened to Danny? He got rubbished everywhere, right? The system that's there right now in Spurs is thoroughbred, smooth as can be. They got the fan base right in their hand. They got the media when they want to use it. And when they want to rubbish someone that goes against the narrative, they can do it. And they've done it in front of my eyes.
All right, but where Dan is concerned, like, let's be fucking honest, his form nosedived off the face of a cliff. Like, if he was still playing like prime Danny...
Off the face of the cliff, it nosedived about 30,000 feet.
Right. If he was still playing prime Danny before he got injured, I'd be fucking kicking up a fuss.
Well, how much was he getting paid before his form nosedived? And what happened to him before his nosedive? When he went international, right, yeah, he got racially abused, right, yeah? And Southgate was there, and they did diddly for him. Nobody did anything. The newspapers didn't do anything. The media didn't. His teammates didn't do anything for him. The coaching staff didn't do anything for him.
No offense. What's that got to do with his wages?
Yeah, that's got nothing to do with his wages.
I mean, as abhorrent as that is, it's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, his form took a nosedive. He doesn't deserve to play for our team. That's one fact. Yeah. The other fact is he signed that fucking contract. No one made him.
Exactly. Bang on. And you have to understand as well, right? These people are very, very privileged people, right? Not many people can be in their position. Very selective few that can. So, like Jason said, right? He signed that contract, so he abides by it. He signed the contract like any other person would sign a contract in a normal job, normal 9-to-5 job, right? He signed it. He goes by their rules. If he doesn't like it, fuck off.
Right. It's literally that simple.
He's formed type, yeah. But are you saying that he deliberately? Are you saying he deliberately decided? You know what? I'm going to play like shit.
No, he just wasn't as good as he used to be.
Well, no, Danny
Rose had that injury, that bad injury, right?
And
ever since that injury, he never recovered.
You're playing like shit. You either his form dipped because he's not able to do it, or you're saying he deliberately did it, in which case he's not loyal to the...
At this point, I think you're putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm not putting words. What I'm saying is, you got two choices.
You are? If you form I'm sorry. If you're fucking not good enough, you're not fucking good enough. End of story.
Fair enough.
A lot of them.
That doesn't make you a disloyal.
Get it straight. As far as his money's concerned, why do you think Danny fucking Cadbury's Roses has not walked away from the club? Because nobody wants to fucking pay him the amount of money we're currently fucking paying him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how little he's getting fucking paid.
To be honest with you, I actually think what is hindering Danny Rose is getting the move is actually his mental health problems. To be honest with you,
agreed.
What club is going to take that gamble when they don't know what Danny Rose they're going to get?
Right, but nobody wants to actually pay him what he's getting paid from us.
Well, I think
because he ain't worth that anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. But I also think that if you look at
so much hate towards Danny Rose from the fan base.
I don't hate him.
He plays like shit. Yeah, fair enough.
I don't hate him. I'm just saying he's not as good as he used to be. Therefore, he's got to go. Like, that's the nature of football.
Agreed. He's got to go. But, at the end of the day...
No, I mean, he couldn't even do it at Newcastle, bottling Newcastle.
No, he could not.
Why do you think they didn't sign him? There was all this talk about him signing a permanent contract with Newcastle. And as soon as they saw what he was really like, and yes, I do agree. It's probably part of his mental health problems and his attitude towards the game, because I don't think that his head's in the game anymore. I don't think it's there. I don't think his passion and desire for football is there anymore. And whatever it is off the field or on the field, whatever it is, it's obviously affecting him. But also his ability is also not there anymore. So it's kind of everything in one.
I want to ask the panel after the injury.
I want to ask the panel a question: yes or no? One word answer. Was Danny Rose right about Jose Mourinho, Mr. K?
In what way? What did Danny say?
In the Amazon documentary, when Danny Rose looks like a big black garlic.
It's the bun, man.
Are you mocking the bun because you can't grow a bun? Is that what it is?
Mr. K, in the Amazon documentary, there's a scene where Danny Rose confronts Jose Mourinho in his office, and he says, "Look, it's not fair.
Yes.
There are other players who are playing like shit, right? So you know what I'm talking about, right?"
Yes. The answer is yes.
Was Danny Rose right about Jose?
Yes. Yes.
Danny? Yes or no?
Yes. In that statement, yes.
Jason?
But there's more to it.
Jason?
All right. That's not a yes or no answer, though.
No,
because I honestly believe there's a bit
This is
of
my
sound,
world.
right?
This is my world. My question, my world. Yes or no?
No.
Okay. David?
No, it came from Levy. To
Will?
not play him.
No.
So, yeah, if it's a yes or no, then no. Because I would say yes, but there's other things to it. But if you're yes or no, then
it's
no.
not. It came from Levy. Once he spoke out about the club the way he did in the paper, him and Levy just don't get on. Levy's not going to terminate his contract to give Danny Rose the satisfaction, and Danny Rose is not going to leave Tottenham to give Levy the satisfaction. Anyone that speaks out about the club gets punished. And for me, I definitely think that order has come from Daniel Levy. Danny Rose is not playing regardless because he's not even getting looking under Mason either.
I'll tell you, you're right? And I'll tell you one thing, right? I'll tell you something else that you guys might not know, but we got a friend, me and Brian Daigle have got a mutual friend who was actually on one of his shows at one point, and his cousin works for Tottenham. He's a coach, right? When this stuff came out about, the Milan stuff of Danny Rose and all this kind of stuff, right? Danny Rose literally spat on Levy's car at the training ground when he was walking out after he knew that Levy was kind of taking the piss out of him. Him and Levy's relationship broke down many years ago, and it's just been like boiling to this point, basically. Right. And there's other things that have gone on.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, based on that, thank you guys for enlightening me. David, thank you. That bit I didn't know. I thought that was part of Jose, favoring Davis so that Bale would be happy. But okay, thank you for that. Let me ask you a question. When Danny turned around in the same documentary at that particular moment and said to Jose, "What are you talking about? I've seen these players. They don't train that hard, and yet you pick them week after week, right? And they're not performing on the pitch. They're terrible over there." In the fan base, it was Danny has thrown his teammates under the bus. A week later, they show the next episode. Kane is sitting there, and he said exactly the same thing. And guess what the fan base said? He's brave for saying that. That happened in front of my eyes. Now you're right. You're right about Danny, money, not being good enough, should be got rid of. I agree with you. Thank you for letting me know. I kind of get your point now. My brain is now rectified on that. It's just my loyalty towards the player who did so much under Podge on that left wing without, the number of times the guy would get fouled.
It's no way to treat a player. We can
100%.
But also, one thing about that Amazon documentary that kind of doesn't fall in line with what Danny and David have said is that as they leave Jose's office, Danny Rose says specifically, "I'm going to speak to Mr. Levy about this."
Yeah.
That doesn't really make much sense, right?
It's all for TV, Cody. It's all for TV.
Fair enough.
So it's all for entertainment. This is all for entertainment. What goes on behind the scenes, what really goes on behind the scenes, there's a lot of stuff that no fans see unless you work with inside the club.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's any institution, though, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. That's what I'm saying.
Any institution.
But the thing is, he's going to say he's going to see Levy, probably to try and save face, to maybe show from people on the outside looking in that he has a relationship with Levy. But I can guarantee you, as soon as he went to Levy, he knows his relationship with Levy was gone. There was one point there, whether he was with Tottenham or with England, he was just constantly in the papers talking. And he's a danger to Tottenham when he's doing that. So they're just going to do everything in their power not to give him any airtime and not to play him.
But you guys are fans, right? You guys are fans.
Yes.
And sometimes as fans, right, you want to know, like, what's really going on.
Oh, 100%.
And if someone does turn around and try to give you a hint of what's going on, now all of a sudden that guy's a traitor to the club and is a danger to the club. You can't have it both ways.
No, you can't. My main issue with all of this, whether it's him saying that or him saying that, I don't know who's telling the. No, it's not that. Right, no. But him not being good enough is to do with him not playing. That's got nothing to do with anything else. My main issue with any of this is who the fuck's telling the truth. Like, you just don't know. Do you know what I mean? That's why I try to not prejudge anyone.
One thing I do know is what I see with my eyes. Right, we played against Chelsea. Right, and Danny Rose came in, smacked the ball into the goal. Right, he scored a beautiful goal. Lastminute.com running in, bang, straight in. And then the very next action was Cahill literally chopped him in half. He went somersaulting into the air, landed, bounced 3 times, and that was a challenge that happened after the ball was gone. The punters said nothing. The fans said nothing. The referee didn't give a red card, or even a yellow card, or even talk to Cahill. And I thought to myself, wait a second, this guy, he's got no support from nobody. Then he goes on international, gets racially abused. His name's not Sterling, so no one gives a bananas. Even Southgate turned around and said, you know what, we made a mistake. We should have supported him. And he's got mental issues. You know, the guy's going kuka, and nobody gives a bananas. And he's being treated like he's a traitor. He's being treated like this. Part of it, you're right. If the guy's not good enough, he shouldn't be in our team because we're trying to hit top 4. We're trying to win titles. We're trying to win cups. We cannot afford to carry baggage. David is the one who taught me this, right? When I went into the Irish Hotspur, he convinced me, you know what, Geezer, as much as you got a heart, at the end of the day, if a player is not good enough, you need to call them out on it. And you're right.
See, Mr. Kane, I'll tell you what David did there for you. What David did there for you, show you what the reality is. Yeah. And for fans to stop being sentimental, exactly. Because me, David, Brian Daigle, and lots of other fans, we've been saying this for 15 years, that we have all the time, every cycle we go through, every single cycle, we always we need a couple more players to get to the next level. It never happens. Or there's always too many players that are too bad. And we never ship enough out of them because we keep being sentimental about these players. We have to start acting like a big club, but it's never going to happen under Levy because he will not invest in the way that a big club invests. And it's never going to happen. Oh, that is so funny.
Looks like the Queen.
He looks like a Russian.
Crown.
He looks like a Russian with one of those Russian hats.
He's Rasputin.
I mean, somebody's got money.
I got to do it for the the people in the comments here. So, and I'm doing this on the fly. Like I'm doing this all like I'm looking while I'm.
Danny, if what you're saying about Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis is true, that Joe Lewis is the puppet master and Daniel Levy is doing the dance, and that he's really just a figurehead who's meant to be a punching bag for us. If we ever did force Enoch to sell at least a majority share of Tottenham Hotspur, would you ever keep Daniel Levy in charge of any aspect of this club, like the business side?
Big up Wayne Winter.
Yep.
Do you know what? Like, if if they brought in someone, do you know what? Right, I don't know. If I'm honest, maybe not. Only because the problem with Levy is, even if he is on the business side, no matter what, he's still gonna try to control everything, because that's what Daniel Levy wants. That's what he does. He wants to have total control. That's exactly the reason why we are where we are on the football pitch.
But you were just saying that this is a mandate that's been placed upon him by Joe Louis. So
the problem is, right, so Joe Louis has bought the club, right, but he's hired Daniel Levy to run the club. So he's basically not in a kind of like an invisible strings, right, because he's restricting Levy to like let him grow this club, because he doesn't give him the money backing of investment money to put into the team. What he said is, here you go, Levy, do what you want, mate. Right, and Levy's basically got to sit there and work out how he needs to make this business make money so that he can try work wonders with this club.
What I'm saying is if that's all true, is Daniel Levy actually the villain that we all make him out to be?
To be honest with you, look, in a way, sometimes there is questionable decisions he has made, like where he could have done better. But like that's like all of us in life. But is he the true villain? I struggle to believe so. And the reason why I say this is because, when it all came out about Spurs going to furlough staff to save money, this, that, and the other, right? We took heat for that. But as soon as it was coming out what Joe Louis was worth and his financials, straight away, nipped in the bud, so that no one could talk about bad about Enoch. With Enoch, they don't want their name in the papers. They don't want bad publicity. They want
Daniel Levy.
So they hired Daniel Levy to take all that flack. So for them to pay Daniel Levy whatever they pay Daniel Levy a year to take that flack, that's worth it for them, because it's not being reflected on them. Before people really start talking about Enoch, everyone just Daniel Levy. But when people start doing their homework, start realizing about Enoch, like that's when they try to nip all these stories straight away, so that they're not spoken badly of, because it's not a good look for their business.
David, can I add something to that, right? Why do you think, and I completely agree with what you said, but why do you think you never see anything in Sky Sports or the media about Enoch? It's always Daniel Levy. It's never, the Tottenham owners, Enoch, have done this decision, done that decision. It's always Daniel Levy has done this, Daniel Levy has done that. It's exactly what David's saying, and it's bang on the money.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got no issue with Levy. I mean, I agree, because I'm pretty sure other people in this panel have said this before, and I agree. Levy should just be shipped to the side and left to run the business, which he does fantastically, and get someone else in to fucking manage and be in charge of the footballing side of the club.
But the thing is, Jason, right? We still have Joe Louis as owner, and as long as he's owner, we're never gonna. The only way we can improve on the squad is by the profit the business makes, right? And they use that for reinvestment into the team, which we all know that only a percentage of what the club makes goes back into the team. It's a small percentage, because if we would have seen a lot more invested into this team if they used a lot more money that they made for the business, right? So
I agree.
To answer your question, Cody, if we had a different owner, but Daniel Levy is the chairman, I would say yes, 100%.
Will, can you just bring up the chemist's comment there? I'm not going to have a go. I just want to explain something. Where he says he took the position of chairman of the club. It was his choice whether Joe Louis is pulling the strings. Yeah, he took the position of chairman, but like if you're in his position and they're throwing that sort of money at you, why would you turn it down? I'm not being funny. If Joe Louis came to me tomorrow and paid me the money they're paying him, I'd take the job.
Yeah, highest paid chairman in the Premier League, isn't he?
Yeah, but also it was a dream job for him. He's a boyhood Tottenham fan. He gets to fucking manage, be the chairman of Tottenham. Of course he's going to say yes to that.
Do you know what? I genuinely have got a feeling that Levy doesn't like Joe Louis, because if you look at some of the reports about Joe Louis wanting to sell last year, a percentage of the business, a percentage of Tottenham, and Daniel Levy was saying, "Oh no, he doesn't like." There was all these reports saying that They couldn't find a buyer for what he wanted, what he valued half the business, how much half the business was worth. And I genuinely think if we ever sell the club, right, Daniel Levy will stay on in some capacity. There's going to be some kind of deal or agreement that Daniel Levy will stay on as chairman with a new owner. And I think if that was to happen, more powerful. Huh?
Don't he own 30% of the club?
Yeah.
No, he owns 30% of ENIC.
Oh, okay.
And as well, don't get me wrong,
the club, which is, they own more than
ENIC own a percentage of the club. They own about, I think, what did I read? It was like 60% or something like that.
I think it's more than that. I think it's 100%.
Is it more?
Yeah, it used to be less, but then when it was public, but then they sold all their other assets in the other clubs.
But as well, like don't get me wrong, like it doesn't excuse that he doesn't have the football structure side of the club, like the director of football and stuff like that properly in place and all that. I'm not excusing that side of it. He should have that side of it, but I do think we need to be looking at Joe Lewis and ENIC and not so much Daniel Levy.
Guys, is there a possibility that Danny and the rest of you guys, could you guys explain to me exactly what the difference? What is ENIC? And could you guys explain ENIC and Joe Lewis, and Levy? Because there may be, myself included, there may be other people that don't understand what these words mean.
So
I'll let Danny take this because he'll probably be able to convey it better than what I would.
So from what I believe, right, from what I know anyway, I think Joe Lewis is the majority shareholder in ENIC, right, which is the company that owns Spurs, right? He owns about, I think it's 50, it might be that, I think, Will, I think it's 50 or 60%. What does it say there?
Yeah, so basically, ENIC is the English National Investment Company. That's what it stands for.
Yeah.
Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy in 2003 only controlled 52% of ENIC shares, and then they formed another company and bought out the remaining shareholders to make ENIC go private. And following the buyout, Lewis and Levy controlled 70.6% and 29.4% respectively of shares in ENIC, which is delisted from AIM and renamed ENIC Group. In 2006, they transferred. They actually owned Slavia Prague as well. Transferred 61% stake in Slavia Prague to a Czech brokerage firm. In January 2008, Key Investment breached the contract with ENIC and increased the equity of Slavia Prague. Following its purchase of Sugar's remaining shares in Tottenham Hotspur in 2007, ENIC continued to build up its stake, taking its share holding to 85%. To fund this investment, it disposed of its stakes in other football clubs, as well as many of its media and entertainment businesses. So they own, I guess it's only 85% of Tottenham.
Yeah, 75.
Wait, is there any chance you could look up Tavistock Group?
Which one?
Tavistock Group. It's another group they're involved in. I just wonder if
Tavistock Group is a Bahamas-based private investment organization founded by Joe Lewis in 1975. Lewis is the primary investor in the company. The company is headquartered in that. The ENIC Group is a subsidiary. So a lot of rich people, when they buy equity in companies, they don't put it in their own name. They put it for tax purposes. They put it under another business that they have. And so my guess is that ENIC's or that Levy's or Lewis's shares of ENIC are probably held by Tavistock Group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah. I think I've read that somewhere before.
Interesting. Because Levy. Talking about pressure, it's good to know how this little pyramid is put together.
Yeah.
Because obviously, we can all, as fans, we first of all have to identify what is wrong with our club, what has been going wrong with our club, and who is responsible for that, what their motivations are, why they're allowing this to occur, where the fans let's face it, we're not there for the money. We're there for the glory. Okay. And without the fans, truly, I 100% believe without the fans, there is no club. As much as they like to say whatever. So if that's the case, then fans are, we feel the emotions, of the game itself when it's being played. We feel the emotions of the players, in and out off the pitch. To us, it's a love affair. And that's what unites all us fans together, is this love affair that we have with this badge. Now, people, when they have an emotional attachment to something, they can be controlled by other people who don't have that attachment. Now, from what I've been hearing about everyone, left and right, without a doubt, Levy does at some stage or some level or another love the club. Whether or not he thinks that club, whether or not he loves that club in the way that we do, where we're after the glory in terms of titles and cups, his might be in a different way, where he's looking at it in terms of I want this club to be as rich as the Manchester clubs. I want it to be as rich as this, and that to him may represent the glory that he doesn't want them looking down their nose at him. So when he turned around and said, "I'm no longer going to sell my top players," I get that. That's a sense of pride. But the only problem is you cannot go for 3 transfer windows with a manager like Poch and not spend a penny on a blooming player. That's just handicapping, the club's ability to gain the other glory, which is for the fans. If there's 3, it's like the stadium has got a capacity of 65,000, approximately. There's 180 million fans in the world. There's 3 million in the UK. We can't all get inside that stadium. We can't all benefit from that lovely stadium that exists. So what we can share is the way that our team plays, the desire that they put in. That comes down to the philosophy that the board tells that this is what the club is about. This is the philosophy of our club. This is the style that we want to represent. And then they get a manager who they say, "Listen, can you fulfill this philosophy?" And the manager says, "Yeah." And they say, "Okay, let's have a go." Season goes by. You can't do it, you're sacked. You can do it, fantastic. That the philosophy of how we play as what our philosophy is. To forget that motto, "to dare is to do." That don't mean diddly. They didn't dare to do anything for 3 transfer windows when we had the best defense in the country. Now, if you want to win a title, right, it's been proven time and time again that you have to have let in less goals than most other teams. If you look at all the top teams that do win, they end up having the least amount of goals conceded. So at the very least, the first thing you got to make sure is that you do not concede goals. And we had that as a backbone under Poch. Poch created that backbone. Then he needed some players who are going to take the game forward to the opposition and score one more than them. That's the idea. Now, with Poch, he didn't mind if you let in a goal or 2. This is Jose's problem. He did mind. How do you know this? Because when West Ham got 3 goals past us, he suddenly said, "That's it. No more expansive football. No more. We're going to score one more than you. I don't want no one scoring a goal. And then we're going to nick one off you guys." And it became from like 4-0, 3-0, 6-1. It went down to 2-1. Trying to win the goal, trying to get that one extra goal so that and not let any in. It doesn't make sense to me as a fan that when you had the golden goose that was laying the eggs, laying the foundation of what you want a championship winning side to have, that you would not invest. Forget, this, what do you call it? I sell a player for 15, I buy a player for 5. That's actually, 20. That's an investment of £5 million. That, it's not a £20 million player that you bought. you've actually sold a £15 million player and you bought a £5 million player. Fulham has spent over 100 million when they came into the Premier League. When they came up, they invested 100 million into their players. When have we ever spent that money? And who the heck are they compared to us? So go on.
Sorry, go on. Well, I was going to say, a lot of the problem as well is it isn't just spending money, it's like what we fucking spend the money on as well.
Oh, yeah. Sissoko, 30 million.
Like,
at that time when they bought Sissoko for 30 million, that was a lot of money.
oh, yeah.
You know, may not seem like it today, but then it was a
30 million
lot
for a two-legged donkey.
Yeah, that confused me. I mean, fair enough, he's a strong player, and you know what? To a certain degree, Spurs does need players who've got some sort of like, you know, some strength in the midfield. You know, we're not going to get pushed over and so forth. But like I said before, we didn't invest at the right time. And why did we not invest for 3 transfer windows? Nobody has come forward from the club to say, by the way, this was what we were thinking. This communication that we have from the club to the fans, or, you know, it doesn't exist. So everyone's scratching their head, wondering what's going on. The media has experts, and those experts have got connections inside the club that tell them this and tell them that. But for all we know, that's all been orchestrated. We don't know. There's a mass confusion. But what we do know is that you did not do what other teams do when they want to do something successful. You buy a player and that you back the manager. You know, if the manager's proved to you something, then you have to prove something back. So Levy is very good at, say, for example, making contracts with players that are performance-based. He says, okay, right, I'll give you this minimum amount of money, and then if you score goals, and if you know, hey, Winks, if you keep making passes and completing passes, you know, without interceptions, you'll get like a bonus here and a bonus there. And Winks goes, really? No problem. Watch, I'll do 1,000 sideway passes and get 1,000 bit more money. Those are the contracts. They don't inspire the players, right, to say that we're a top club. We're outside the top 6 when it comes to spending on our players. That's a fact. You know, so I don't see how we're expected to win titles or cups if we don't invest or pay the players that you would expect to pay when the competition's paying them. So if you're not going to pay your players,
it's never going to happen.
Therein lies the problem. We don't.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
never going to happen.
Responsible for that? The people like Levy are responsible. I don't care if someone's got chain, they're pulling his strings or whatever crap. At the end of the day, if you're responsible, like the manager's responsible and you sack him, if you're responsible for running the club and you do not pull out the money to invest and back your manager, then you're held responsible. I don't care if someone else is pulling your bloody strings.
Just
devil's advocate.
For anybody that's just tuning in, I just wanted to welcome you to our Sheffield United preview show.
And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends. This is my radio voice. You are watching WSTR.
And don't forget to get your pet spayed or neutered. No, I just had to say the word Sheffield a few times. Sheffield.
Can we stop talking about Levy and Jose?
I just want to address one thing though, and just to play devil's advocate. Like, as far as Joe Lewis is concerned, Levy's doing a fantastic fucking job.
100%.
Like, and as far as Levy's concerned, he can't just go and spend. He can't. Well, he probably is. But he can't just go and spend money if Joe Lewis doesn't give him the go-ahead. That's a fucking fact.
Yeah.
No. Listen, okay, so I get that. I counter that with something very simple. You cannot go for 3 transfer windows without spending a penny on a blooming player.
Yeah, but that's not Daniel Levy's decision.
Levy, is it? That's Joe Lewis's decision.
No, it doesn't matter.
That is Levy's decision.
Welcome to the show, Joel. This is the first time I've seen you in the chat. Thank you for joining us.
And again, I'm not saying Levy is a fucking snowflake in all of this. He's definitely not. You know what I mean?
Abdul, what's your take on this, man?
Yeah, I kind of understand. Yeah, I kind of understand when you're coming from, where you're saying it's up to Joe Lewis because he's the one with the money. If we were to invest in some players, it would have to come out through him. But I do put a lot of blame onto Daniel Levy, and the reason why is because I think if Daniel Levy himself would have came to this Tottenham team and said, Joe Lewis, we need money, we need to compete. If Daniel Levy himself has the same ambitions that us fans have, because I think Daniel Levy can really talk to Joe Lewis and kind of get him to open up his wallet. And
Trust me, you can't. Abdul, the only. Sorry to interrupt you, man, but what I've studied about Joe Lewis is that most of his money is tied up in assets. He doesn't actually have the money available to provide. Most of it is tied in assets, and that's why he won't give any of his personal wealth to Tottenham because he doesn't give a shit. That's the problem.
Okay, but you don't think if Daniel Levy would have came to him and said, "Listen, if you do not invest money into these next couple of transfer windows, your investment will be going down because our team will drop into the mid-table and let's just say relegation side or relegation battle." Like if Daniel Levy would have came to him with those kind of with that affirmative statement saying that you need to invest in order for this team to get better and for your team to look more attractive to the sponsorships and all that yada yada yada. I think it'll kind of I'm not gonna say force Joe Lewis to spend a lot of money, but he can get a tune out of him if you were to come to him with that statement.
I don't agree with that only because Joe Lewis is 84, 86 years old. The thing is with him is because he doesn't care about the club, right? If he was losing money in this investment, which let's be real, they paid £22 million. Anything more than £22 million is making a profit on a business you invested in.
More like 66.
Yeah, well,
because
no,
it
was 22.
It was 22 when they first was the first.
That's what I mean. Yeah. When they first,
with sugar, but then when they bought the rest of the shares, they had to raise an additional 40. They had to raise an additional £40 million in order to purchase the majority share of Enoch or all of Enoch, which then bought it out. So it's cost them about.
So their controlling stake is £66 million worth, is what it cost them to buy the controlling stake.
What's the inflation price? Because they bought it 20 years ago.
No, it was 2007 when they finally took
07?
control. Yeah,
when they finally got the last bit of control. Yeah. Guys, so if you look at it now, right?
People and business people is they borrow money, and then they make the business that they're buying pay back the money they borrowed to buy it in the first place, right? Because
what I'm saying is, Joe Lewis will just sell the club if he sees it losing money, he can sell it for a profit now anyway. Even if he sells it for £1 billion, that's still a huge profit on what they invested in the company in the first.
200 million would be a huge profit.
Exactly. So he don't give a shit. He'll just go, okay then, Daniel, if we're selling it, if we're losing, if we're not going to make the money that you're promising, then we'll sell it and we'll make a profit. You don't care, mate. You don't care.
Yeah,
that's what we got to do. We got to get relegated.
100%, 1,000,000%.
About profit and investment, because 10 years
ago, going down. We are going down.
Going down. Yes. Hashtag going down.
The Super League, and obviously, if you want to get your club into the Super League, say 10 years ago, you say, okay, I want to make a crap load of money. If I get this club into the Super League, then I will make a crap load of money. And apparently, it doesn't matter if you haven't won a title or if you're out of the top four. If you're included as a rich club and in the Super League, so you need a stadium for that. You need fans around the world. You need merchandising to be put everywhere in China. So basically, that's where the focus has been. But at the end of the day, if you don't invest and buy a player for three transfer windows, it looks so stupid to absolutely everyone.
It wasn't preaching to the choir. It was 2 windows. It was 2 windows. So, it wasn't 3.
No, it's three transfer windows, but it's a season and a half.
You're preaching to the choir. No one here disagrees with you, man.
Right.
Nobody.
So therefore, my point is, it doesn't matter to me whether it's Levy or Joe Lewis. They're both a bunch of idiots. They don't care about us, the fans. So now is the time where the Super League has come in our face, no apology being given, Ryan Mason being pushed into a position he's not qualified to be in. This is insulting to the fans, left, right, and center. They're trying to use sentiment with us by pushing Ryan Mason forward. They're trying to use sentiment because it's very hard to, rattle a saber against Ryan. He's one of our own. We've been pissed off with him that making the subs that he did. We're pissed off with him putting the lineup that he did. But at the end of the day, we can't be that upset with him.
Ryan
Mason
is just a cute puppy that's been put in front of the camera to deflect the attention that is supposed to be being placed
100%.
on Enoch and Levy.
So as Jason said, that if a player is shit and performing shit, then we should get rid of him. Well, that's Ryan Mason for you right now.
But even with Ryan Mason, we're being too sentimental. We sold the guy because he was shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now people don't want to criticize him because he's manager and he's one of our own. I couldn't give a fuck. You need to realize, like what he was saying, and I've been saying this on my stream and other streams as well, even on We Are Tottenham TV, that Levy done that to take the attention away from them because fans are going to find it hard to criticize Ryan Mason because we're too sentimental. At the end of the day, he's a player that wasn't good enough. We sold him, so we need to cut the sentiment.
I criticize him all the time, and people give me crap about it.
Ryan Mason is a.
That's because you're American, Will. I'm Irish. I get away with it.
Okay,
I'm only joking with you, Will.
I don't give him crap, but the only reason I don't give him crap is because there's no point to it. Like he's not gonna get the job. He's literally been put in a fucking impossible position. He can't fucking.
He said yes.
It's not. Yeah, but it's not really his fault.
So imagine Daniel Levy having the conversation. Either you take this job right now as interim manager, or you're sacked.
Yeah, he couldn't.
Let me ask you a question.
What's he going to do?
Let me ask you a question.
What's he going to do?
Let me ask you. Go to any other club, a championship side club, do whatever he wants. I mean, he's got experience at Tottenham. He's a professional player. He's got the license. He can do. He can go wherever he wants.
He loves coaching.
Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. If you're walking down the street in Philadelphia and you decide to go up to a lady of the night and take her to a hotel room, are you not responsible for the chlamydia that you get the next day?
Will, are you talking?
Yes. 100%. And the gonorrhea.
Exactly. So Ryan Mason is 100% at fault for just, he made the choice. He said yes to the lady on the street, which is Daniel Levy. And now, if he's got chlamydia now, that's his own fault because he chose to go home with her. That's the way I look at it.
But how hot was the hooker?
Yeah, exactly.
How hot was the hooker? You want to know how hot the hooker was? That's how hot the hooker was.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, baby.
Come home with me tonight, baby.
You should put some red lipstick on him.
Take it home tonight. Come on now.
Look,
put some red lipstick on him.
Okay.
I mean, and I'll be honest, dude. With fucking 70% of the players we've got anyway, I don't think fucking Jesus would get a tune out of them.
No, they can't.
They're average at best.
Will Stewart, you would never have said no to that job opportunity. You would have never fucking said no to that.
Yes, I would.
No way. Don't sit there and be on your high horse. There is not a fucking person on this panel in the comments or a subscriber that would have said no to Daniel Levy saying, would you like to be the manager of Tottenham Hotspur? You would not have said, you can't tell me that you would have just sat there and said, no way. You know what? I'm gonna ruin my CV if I take this job. No, I have too high a moral standard to take this job.
No, it's not about moral standard.
This is going nowhere.
Let me finish my answer before you go on a rant here. It's not about a moral standard. It's about, look, in career choices, right? If I go work for a drug dealer, if I go work for a drug dealer, is that going to be a good career move as a salesperson? No, it's going to end. I'm going to end up in prison, right?
Will, You're looking
He's
at it from a
not
different
ruining his
perspective.
career.
He
though.
is ruining his career.
He's
He
not.
is.
He's
He
not.
is.
It's only 5 games. It's only like 5-6 games, whatever
I'm
it is.
saying
But nobody
no.
in the world expects him to succeed. So how the fuck
Yeah.
is he ruining his career?
You're
Just
telling
no.
me. You're telling
Just
me.
quickly.
Absolutely
What other club is going to
nobody
pick
is
him up? What other club is going
Nobody-
to pick him up after that final? What club?
Just quickly, lads.
What club's gonna
Alistair
give
in
him
the
a job?
comment. Alistair in the comment section. If you donate to Will's Patreon and then put your question in the chat, we'll answer your question.
just type something out and let's have it looks good. We'll read it out. I mean,
I mean,
Will's a
don't
nice
get
guy.
me wrong. I was pulling what hair I don't have out when fucking Sissoko got subbed on. I was like, what the actual fuck was that
He let
about?
Don't.
Oh my days, no.
I didn't think it could get any worse, and then it did.
No,
Yeah.
it was horrible.
No, Alistair, you don't have to put it in
can
a
I-
super chat, but I would appreciate a Patreon. It's $5, or I think it's like £3. $5 or £3 a month, and you can support the channel. But no, yeah. If you have another question other than this, go ahead and throw it in there too. But how did Ryan not start Bale in the final?
I do. Can I ask what's the score prediction for this game tomorrow?
Yeah, 6-0.
6-0.
6-0 to Sheffield.
Look, if
David
we can get
McGoldrick with a double hat
if we
trick.
can get 6-1 past Manchester United, then surely against Sheffield United's B team,
Oh,
right?
look
Yeah?
at that. Wow, he was there.
Yeah, but that was the luckiest game of football we ever had. I'm thinking. Fucking.
No, I would look if I'm the owner of a smaller club and Ryan Mason made those substitutions. If I was the scouting director of that club, I wouldn't hire Ryan Mason as a coach. No, I wouldn't.
Alistair, thank you for letting us know. Honestly, I really appreciate that. It's good
I think
to know.
Son was crying too much to walk to the fans. I don't know why he was crying. He didn't play that well.
I think he was ashamed.
Yeah,
he was ashamed. You know, from his culture, he's like he's let everyone down because.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true. There is a lot. There is a responsibility that's there.
I mean, everybody else went home to play FIFA, and
It's just kind of a breaking conversation. I can do my commercial now and cut off Facebook because this is the new thing. After the end of 2 hours, I got to cut off Facebook. So it's the people who are watching on Facebook. Make sure you come and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can watch the full 3 hours of the show. 페이스북에서 보고 있으면 유튜브로 오세요. 구독하고 좋아 바랍니다. And then goodbye, Facebook. Remove. Facebook's gone. But yeah, and also too, guys, big stuff coming up for the channel. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to see a bunch of new shows popping up here and there from a bunch of different people. We'll kind of keep that in the secret realm, and unless people want to reveal it. But make sure to stay tuned for that. Big and beautiful things coming to the channel. Like, subscribe, share the video with your friends. Even if you're already subscribed, hit that share button that's down there next to the like button. And that way your friends can watch it too. So
Listen, if Daniel Levy came up to me 2 days before the cup final and
He's
said,
not letting
listen,
it go.
listen,
Alistair is trying to Patreon you, Will. Do you want to explain it to him?
But Bun, are you off?
I'm off, guys.
Well, then outro yourself, my friend.
Take care, brother.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys, for having me on. And what a great chat it is. And I better go before I get in the doghouse, which I probably will be tomorrow anyway. Yeah, so you can find me on 2 places actually. So one which I'm quite a regular guest now on, which is the Irish Hotspur, and Ireland's #1 Irish fan. So Tottenham's the best Irish fan there is. And you got to go over and subscribe to him, guys, because he's an absolute legend
100%.
out on YouTube right now, and he's just growing just unbelievably quick, and he's just a brilliant guy, unbelievable content, and you just got to go over there, subscribe, like his stuff, and you'll catch me over there. And you can also find me on my Twitter account, which is at Danny Kiriakou, we're going to be having a channel coming out hopefully in the next couple of months, and if it's going to be like a debate show with a lot of basically stupid idiots just chatting shit about football. So yeah,
stop talking about my channel like that.
Oh, not you as well, Will. Bloody hell. And yeah, and also I want everyone else as well in the channel to like. If you're not subscribed, you need to subscribe to this man here, and that is Will Stewart's THFC Rants, because he is just unbelievable, and the stuff that he does is it's a joy. And for the people in North America and all around the world, it's just brilliant. There's no one like him as well, so please just subscribe and like his stuff. And on that note, I'm off, guys, so take it easy.
And also, too, don't forget, you can also subscribe to his bun on Twitter as well, or follow his bun. There will be an account coming shortly called The Bun, and you can follow that account. No,
Danny's going to start his own YouTube channel here shortly.
The Bun is going to be more popular than Danny himself shortly. You'll also be able to buy the Bun shirt at THFCRants.com coming in the next week or so. So.
Thanks so much for the kind words, Danny, as well, man. I really do appreciate that, my man. You're too nice.
No, mate, all of you guys deserve it, man, because everyone, and even all the guests who come on the shows regularly, because everyone everyone's got their own opinions, and that's what makes football and that's what makes these shows is people's opinions and how passionate people are and people's insights. So everyone is unbelievable. And yeah, and I'm sure David and Will, Cody, I'm going to speak to you guys tomorrow. Mr. K, Jason, Abdul, I'll thank you guys. See you later, guys, and I'll speak to you later.
If you get time, come on the pre-match pump up.
Yeah, I probably won't be, mate. I've got it's Greek Easter tomorrow, or today, basically.
All right.
So we're going to a barbecue, so I'm probably going to be offline again most of the day. But I'll send over those pictures to you later on as well.
Sounds good.
Oh, a bit of bun porn going on there, I tell you.
Yeah, a little bun porn. Sending me the bun pics.
It's the bun in the gimp suit.
The bun pics.
I'm not going to lie, I didn't want to know. Like,
just a hole for the bun, and that's it.
We're gonna have so much fun. I'm gonna do we're gonna have so much fun with the bun, dude. I'm telling you right now. Like we're gonna have I'm gonna do the bun shirt just for the bun, and then I'm gonna be bun plus man smell equals greatness or glory, right? Like it's gonna be.
Yeah. Or just put the bun on some of the greatest iconic, the Eiffel Tower, the pyramid, stuff like that.
Or take a ketchup bottle that has man smell as the label, and there's the bun down here, and you're pouring ketchup on it, right? So it's it's gonna be great.
Oh, it's gonna be funny. I'm looking forward to it. So, guys, take it easy, everyone. All right.
Yeah, take it easy.
See you later, Danny.
Bye.
See you, mate.
I'm telling you right now, guys. If you don't have THFCRants.com booked on your web browser, you're gonna be missing out because the shirts are gonna be just absolute, class hilariousness.
2 hours. This has been emotional and learning. 2 hours of not smoking a cigarette.
Go take a break. Go take a smoke break.
Planning to. All right, guys. I'll be back in 10 minutes. No.
Hey, that's a big cigarette.
No. I'm trying to give
it's been exhausting. He's got to have a couple.
No. What it is, it's Ramadan for me, and it's like fasting and so forth. And I said to myself that this month for myself, the end target is to quit smoking completely.
Oh, you
can. And you need to take little steps in between. You can't just jump straight to it. You need to practice that. And here, 2 hours where you guys have felt that I've been a little bit emotional. These are the type of things that would drive me to smoking a cigarette, especially when I consider what's happened in the past, with Poch, with Jose, with the fan base, not caring about certain players. You have to learn and grow, and you have to tackle it. You guys being here has helped me survive 2 hours without a cigarette. Trust me, that's the reason why I don't show my face half the time, because I'm literally smoking a cigarette while I'm chatting to you guys.
That's all right. Yeah. Well, hey, if we can help, we go we got another hour left on the show before we get to the 10 p.m. East Coast time, or at least 45 minutes.
What if I'm done without smoking a cigarette then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. K, why don't you go 3 hours without smoking a cigarette and just stay for the last bit of the show?
I'm trying to do that right now. I'm trying not to go anywhere right now. I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to stay here and last another hour. You know, see if I can make it 3 hours in a row. But yeah, listen, I'll tell you the truth. One of the biggest things is not just opinions that we as fans get from one another. We also get insights. We also get a little bit of education. We also get a little bit of comic relief when we're feeling a little bit too down. You know, we can pick each other up, and sometimes we can be brought down to earth. I
gotta be careful. I'm gonna get sued one of these days for some of my like this one here, dude. I mean, that's class, right? Weekend at Joe's and like Levy's head is the O, right? Like, I mean, that's
no. It's look. Well, listen. Today, we have a game coming up. I don't believe it's going to be as easy as I said it, 6-0 or whatever. I think it's going to be a little bit more tighter than that. Coach?
Yeah. Coach, you got a little bit of an echo, my man, but I got you muted. Whenever you're ready, you get to talk. You can unmute yourself. But announcement. Where you at, dude? Where are you at? Wayne Bonner just signed up as a new Patreon. So Wayne,
nice.
Wayne is now a member of Williams Rangers. I will get your name on that shout out sheet. We got Spartan 7 Gaming and Wayne Bonner. You guys rock. You guys are now part of the Williams Rangers. If you guys want to jump onto that sheet, the link is in the description. Helps us out at some point in time. We've got to, go big or go home. I don't really have any needs to improve myself here, but there are a lot of new partners that we're going to be bringing to the channel that I want to, set up and make sure that everybody's rocking and rolling. So all the support that we get from you guys is all for your benefit. I'm lucky enough to be doing this as part of my business, so it makes it easy for me to do that, and bring up funny stuff and rock some sounds.
Do you think today, in terms of football, do you think that Winks was a one-off in the final, or do you think that Ryan has got more plans for Winks?
Do you know what? I think something's going on with Dembele. Like, I don't know why the fuck he didn't play him.
Ooh, the bun.
Well, but I'm wondering, is it Mason or Levy who's choosing who plays?
Will Stewart has all the answers for this, and I actually think Will Stewart could be bang on the money here.
Why Ndombele's not playing? I think I know why Ndombele's not playing. He played against Southampton. It was the first match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having probably one of his better games of the season, as far as running around and doing turns and flicks and tricks. He gets subbed off at around the 67th minute for Harry Winks. Right?
Oh yeah.
And when he walks off the pitch, they kind of hit him with a flash shot, and he was pissed. Like, he walked super slow back, like he was like, he didn't say anything to Ryan Mason. He didn't look at him, no high five, no pat on the butt or anything like that. Walked straight to the seat. Then, and Ndombele is already kind of a diva. Like, he had the whole reason why he had a clash out with Jose, the reason why he wanted to leave the club after he first came was because, I need to be playing more. I'm good enough to be playing here, this, that, and the other place, right? Gets pissed off that he subbed off at the 6-7 minute mark for Harry Winks. Doesn't play the final at all. Doesn't even warm up. Doesn't even come off the bench to warm up, right? So I think that him and Mason got into a tiff. He doesn't respect Mason for, the fact that he's got no CV, he's young, whatever reason you want. And that's why he didn't play in the final. And if you don't see him play tomorrow, if you don't see him start tomorrow, I think it's nailed on 100%. I don't think you can deny it after that.
So does Mason have a man management issue now? Then,
of course, he's 29 years old. Look, if I'm Ndombele, right, and I already think that I'm the business, right? I'm the shit, right? I think I'm the shit.
Wish has got a point. He's the most
and then I got
on that team.
a 5 year, a guy who's 5 years older than me, who's like a U18 coach, who's telling me what I need to do. You know, screw him.
Yeah, makes sense. I'll feel the same.
You don't need to tell me what to do, right?
Yeah, that's the thing with having young coaches. They need to be proven, or else the players on the team just won't respect. I mean, it's as easy as that. Yeah, but
I got called. I was told I was mental for having that.
No, that's honest. I mean, I could imagine Kane. Well, Kane is a professional, but Ndombele or somebody like that is like, who are you to tell me what to do? You gotta be better than me to tell me what to do, or that's how I see it.
Is anyone telling anyone what to do, really?
But
it's just a case of like, you have a game plan for the team. You have a game plan.
That's my secret, Will.
But if you look at the game itself that they did play, when they forced the ball out towards the wider channels, and that was away from the center, and that meant that every time Dembele had the ball, he was mostly by himself, like in the middle of the field, and everyone else was on the sides. So
I find when our midfielders get the ball or our defenders got to play the ball out, I find that there's a fucking lack of movement. Like, of our mid, it's just there's no fucking option to give the ball, and then no one wants to take the ball and fuck it. Just
I saw a number of times the ball got taken to the left channel, and instead of taking the ball forward, they passed the ball back to defense. And all these players on the right and in the middle that had charged forward were looking back and thinking, "Oh, we have to go back now."
but didn't two of their centre in that final were not their two centre halves on fucking yellow cards?
Yeah, they were.
Yep.
Why would you not put fucking players on that can run at them and fucking make them scared to go near them?
Lamela.
Yep, Lamela, he gets it done. He's got no final end product, but he's a fun hellish chicken, and he works hard.
Fucking Ndombele could have fucking run at him. And I'll tell you what. Go on.
Sorry, just if I could come in there quickly. My phone is about to die, lads, but honestly, it's been a pleasure, man. So on that, I am going to go off and get some sleep. But everybody, subscribe to WillStewartTHFC Rants. He really does deserve it. Show your support by joining his Patreon. I will be joining tomorrow. Don't worry about that. So everyone else, show your support and be joining the Patreon. And also, don't be afraid to check out his merchandise. There's some great merch there as well. But most importantly, smash that subscribe button. Will is definitely going to be the next one, I predict, to reach over 1K next. And he's well on his way. And he's brought Cody Mack on board as well, which is a great asset. So big up, boys, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow at some stage.
And before you jump off, Eric Lamela wants to promote your channel as well.
Make sure that you go over to the Irish Hotspur and subscribe, because his channel is absolutely great. It's great. The content, like today's show, was hilarious. It was funny. It was educational, and it was just one of the best shows that I watched today, to be honest with you. So make sure to go subscribe to David at the Irish Hotspur.
Get out of here, Lamela. I don't like you.
Thanks for that, Will, man. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, you know, if you do have time, obviously when this stream is finished and you're not subscribed to my channel, just get over and check it out. I appreciate that, Will.
Yeah, go check it out. Especially that show today. It was not only was it funny with the Paxton TV guys, but it was a good show as well.
Full of giggles today, man. I was working outside a security building. Sorry, I was doing security outside a building, and I was watching his show, and I couldn't get off it, even though I couldn't interact with it that much because I was on my mobile phone. But people were looking at me. Geezer, are you working?
I'd say if you were laughing, you look like the most unintimidating security guard ever.
Oh my days, David, big up Irish Hotspur. Oh my days, what a channel. What a
No, I
channel.
appreciate that, please. I appreciate the love, man. Thank you so much. And look, my channel would be nothing without all you guys viewing it and tuning in and helping me out the way you do with the likes and promoting it and everything else. So I really do appreciate it, and the super chats as well.
David,
so I really
got
do
a bold
appreciate it. It's
prediction.
nothing without you.
Just before you go to bed, David, I got a bold prediction for you. I think the Irish Hotspur will be the first Spurs YouTube channel to dethrone We Are Tottenham TV. I think you're going to overtake them. Seriously, I think you are.
Nah, look, I'm nowhere near that, man. Them boys have put in 3-4 years hard graft, man. I'm only at 6 months. I'm nowhere near it, man.
Hey,
I don't think I
said
ever will
Eric
be.
Dyer was going to have a good game in the cup final, so don't discount my wisdom here.
Oh.
No, look, Cody, I never discount your wisdom. You know, I
Kobe
never.
Mulderweireld.
Ireland's #1 fan.
No, but
All right,
lads,
guys.
honestly, I appreciate all the kind
you on
words. I really do. I really do. But look, I'm going to let you get on with your conversation, man, and take it back to Tottenham. So I'll see you all tomorrow at some stage. And if any of you are free, the pre-match pump up starts at 5:30 on We Are Tottenham TV. I would love to see some of you guys come on and join me.
I'll be there.
Love to.
I'll be there with moon boots on.
We'll be watching.
Perfect.
Care,
Oh
mate.
man, do you know what? If you could actually turn up with the string with moon boots, lad, and just show them off, that'd be absolutely comical. I'd love it.
What time's the game tomorrow? Our time, Cody, 2:30. I might be able to get to like a Goodwill and find some of those old 80 like Napoleon Dynamite moon boots. I might be able to find some by 2:30. I'll have to go check it out.
Oh, that'd be brilliant, man. That'd be brilliant. But honestly, boys, let's get back to your show. Let's get the conversation back on the way for the viewers, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Take it easy.
Hey,
man.
take care, David.
See you, lad.
Will, any comments worth looking at?
Yeah, we got Win Winter saying it was a great stream, guys. Do I do my radio voice? Great stream, Will. My man, have a good one. I'll be watching tomorrow. Cheers. Thank you. Everybody looks like everybody's going home. Don't go home yet. Alejandro Perez is still here. Says that's true, but if that was the case, why not stick with Bayern? What's true? Who are you talking to?
I think he's talking about the Bayern coach being linked to Spurs, I'm guessing.
Or maybe I
Is
pray
he-
that close the mouth. Me
Has he got
too.
the TF comments above? They've been having a conversation backwards and forwards. The national team.
Okay. Oh, they're talking with DM.
Yeah.
DM.
Talk about the national
DM.
Rose and so on.
Hansi Flick. What do you guys think about Hansi Flick? Would you take Hansi Flick?
100%. 100%. I'll take it.
Will Hansi Flick
But-
take us? That's the question.
I don't think those rumors are real and concrete. The reason why I just think those rumors are kind of created from Hansi Flick's team to try and add some pressure to the German Football Federation to kind of replace Joachim Löw with Hansi Flick like ASAP immediately, because Hansi Flick wants to coach the German team for the upcoming Euros, and the Football Federation wants to stick with Joachim Löw and hire Hansi Flick after the Euros. And I guess Hansi Flick just trying to add some pressure, saying that if you guys don't, take me right now, I'm glad to go over to Tottenham and be the coach there. And then when you guys do get rid of Joachim Löw, there's really not going to be any options. So I just think it's just added pressure from Hansi Flick's agent, or I don't think
Hansi
it's real.
Flick is using Tottenham the same way Gareth Bale has. Just
Would you
leverage.
get fit for the Euros?
He's just using us as leverage.
Yeah.
You tell me what reason Hansi Flick would come from Bayern Munich to Tottenham Hotspur. Just put
Well,
that in
he's-
writing on paper on your desk and tell me if that makes sense to you. It
Well,
doesn't.
'cause He's losing his job at Bayern, though,
There's
isn't he?
something I want to do, and it's bugging me. I am so like I can't wait for things, but
We welcome you to Tottenham Hotspur.
God, I hate Lamella.
Listen, guys, the one thing 92 Flamethrowers like, and also come on you Spurs further up, they mentioned the media manipulation of the fans' emotional state and the ridicule that the general media has and also punditry has in this country towards Spurs as a club. There seems to be this unique type of situation that no other club is in, where people can ridicule it as much as they want. And right now, it fits the narrative to say that our team, our club, is so pathetic that it can't even get, Dora the Explorer or to join as a manager. Are we as fans in danger of running along with some of the hype that gets done by the media? Is there a three-way triangle going on?
Oh, there's definitely a circle, Kirk, because you want to hear these names associated with your club and you want to get excited for it because that's the sort of thing you want to hear, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
as far as Hansi Flick, what's his name's going to Bayern, isn't he? So he's not going to have a job at the end of the season, which is why he was thinking of going to the taking on the national team. But I do agree. I think he's definitely his team are using that to try and push his way into the job before the Euros.
Oh wait! Is the German national team up for a new manager?
Well, yeah, they're trying to replace Joachim Löw. He's still there technically, but
yeah,
I mean, he disappointed heavily in the World Cup, right? So they've been trying to look for a replacement.
Isn't Hansi Flick the best candidate for that then?
Yeah, I think that's the plan so far. Yeah,
so he wouldn't be interested in coming to Spurs if that was the case.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd fucking love it if he did, but
yeah. So I think there's an awful lot of chain jerking or whatever jerking going on when it comes to our club. People, like you said, people are just being associated so they can get a higher price, saying, "Hey, look, you know what? I can go over here, or you guys, if you want me, you have to pay me a little bit more money to come your way." So people may be using our club for that.
Well, there's also a lot of paper talk as well, isn't there?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. That's what Flamethrower was saying.
And I think Cody's about to head out. He's about to make like a baby. Head out.
It is about 2.5 hours past my bedtime. And
what time is it over there, Cody?
It's half midnight right now. So if you have kids, especially ones that are 3 years old or younger, then you know the pain that I'm putting myself through. But I just want to say to everybody in the comments, everybody that's been on the panel tonight, thank you so much. Thank you for clicking the like button. Thank you for all the comments. It really does help grow the channel. And I'll be watching back the rest of the conversation tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Cody.
Yeah,
good night, man.
Tottenham Toby die.
See you later, Cody Mac.
Will, I have a question for you.
Absolutely, dude.
So what is this whole thing about coaches who can build teams and coaches who can't? Yeah, because there's this whole thing going on saying that Poch built his team. Yes, he did. But then again, Poch was allowed to bring players in and give him time. I think almost every coach can do that if they're given time. It's the same thing.
I think that what it is you have, I think as you get older in any career, I don't think you have enough patience for it. Right. So a lot of young CEOs or, young entrepreneurs, a lot more getting up. But if you were to say, take Steve Jobs at Apple when towards the end of his time, he's not going to come into a new company, a new startup and do whatever, right? He's got too much money. It's just not worth his time anymore. Right.
Yeah, that's
so once you get to a point, I think in success where you've kind of made a name for yourself already, you don't want to have to go back to the days where you built, because to be honest with you, Jose Mourinho and at Porto and in the beginning of his career, built teams, right? He brought in youth, even at Real Madrid, to be honest with you. I think as you age and you have, I guess you could say you're more financially secure, you just have, I think you just don't get excited enough about starting projects from scratch. It's much easier to go into an established club, an established team. Like Pep Guardiola, I don't think he'd want to go in and do a rebuild anymore.
Well, but depends too when we talk about building, cause is it bringing the youth up or is it getting players in and and keeping them for like 3-4 years. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you take a look at club in Liverpool,
Depends on the club philosophy.
Yeah.
If you have certain clubs, for example, I mean, you got all kinds of weird constraints that boards put on clubs. I mean, there's some Portuguese clubs that you can only buy Portuguese players, or there's some clubs out there that you can only you can't buy any players. You can only promote the youth. Our club has a couple of clear philosophies. One is you can't give anyone over 30 longer than X amount of contract, like 1 year or 2 years. You also, secondly, you have to kind of buy the players younger, like 22, things like that. So you have a sale on value when they get to 24 to 25. If they break through into becoming like really top players, then we can sell them on. Whether Levy says we ain't going to sell our top players, but he doesn't say anything about selling not our top players, but good quality players. Bring them in and sell them on. There's still money to be made, but really it's down to the individual philosophy of the club. It's not well known. It seems to me that the communication from our club to the fans or anywhere else is not that transparent at all. Because if you look at teams like Manchester United, they've got an identity. So therefore you can see the philosophy because everybody knows their identity, right? One of the ways to have an identity is to back the manager when it comes to what type of players he wants. We in our team we can see that there's no identity because the managers are not being backed enough, and it seems to me that all the while that they're not getting back, the club is saying that they're getting richer, right?
Yeah.
So it's the identity kind of. I mean, people are going on about some people like Bob Spur, for example, said, look, there's no point a manager coming in and showing identity on the pitch when the board itself is not expressing an identity. I think all the board wants is that the board's identity is saying, look, win. You bring Jose in, who doesn't have a style, but he has a winning mentality. If you look at, for example, Nagelsmann.
Wait, how does Jose not have a style?
No, he has a style to a certain degree, but he changes his style according to what he wants to succeed in order to win.
Yeah, I think that's good coaching. It's silly to have one set style. As long as if you're Pep and you have the best players in the world, then you can.
I agree with you. I'm one of those guys that likes Jose in terms of what he's able to do. It distresses me that you bring in a coach who has this demand on the players for their characters to become stronger. He said in the first one, right? Good boys don't win. You have to be a bunch of thingies. And that is the mentality that you need. The reason why he attached himself to Dyer was because he looked at Dyer and said he has those qualities in him as a person where he will berate himself and feel when he's effed up. You understand? He feels that. So even though he may be on the pitch, maybe he'll make mistakes or he's not maybe good enough in some people's eyes, but his internal mentality is he gives a damn.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree, but Jason has to bounce off. So Jason, what we should have done with the other guests that bounced off, I totally forgot. Give us a score prediction for tomorrow before you jump off.
That's a good one.
Honestly, I think we're gonna win 2-1.
Good call.
That's my prediction. Because I don't think we're going to keep a clean. I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet, but I do think we're too good for them.
Definitely.
That's all I got.
We'll have to.
That's good. That's good. And hold on, David, if you're still in the chat, you got to give her permission to do a moon boot shirt, like just two moon boots with moon boots text underneath it. You got to give your permission to do that. That's
if
moon
Will
boots
brings
is
some
his
moon boots-
phrase. So I don't like stealing people's memes.
It's been emotional, gentlemen. I've enjoyed the discussions. Take care, all. Will, great show as always. And
Thank you, mate.
I'll speak to you all later.
Hey,
All right,
Jason,
have a
you
great
take care.
Thanks.
Hey, take care, man.
Honestly, it's good everything. I love learning from you, bro. Thank you.
See you, man.
Bye.
No, it's okay. You made some very good points, and it's as easy as that. You can have the most skills in the world, But if you don't put in the hard work, at the end of the day, you are gonna get beat by teams a lot lower than you. Yeah, because I know a lot of these teams don't have household names, but they grind on the field, and that's what counts.
You know what it is when in the Premier League, there's look, a human being is a human being. They can run X amount, they can exert X amount, and the quality difference. Like in order for quality to shine, you still have to perform as a team, right? An individual top class player may be able to pull it out the bag and save the team, but if you want your whole team to play, then they have to put the effort in. They have to have the right mentality as a group. Their passing has to be of an understanding with one another. So there has to be a consistency of them playing with each other, right? And if it's very difficult, top clubs out there with top players, they have the ability, the professionalism, that even if they don't like each other, they can play with each other. Right? We have a bunch of players which, we're not blind. We can see when they're playing good, and we can see when they're not playing good. We can also see that they can only play. They have a ceiling at how good they are. So in the Premier League, any team can beat any team on its day, right? So that tells you that the desire to play. Like I saw today's game, Brighton versus Leeds, right? And as much as everyone wants to talk about Potter and his magic wand, what I saw with my eyes was Brighton did the high press, and they were organized high press, and it worked against Leeds. They did to Leeds what Leeds do to other teams, right? So everyone can go on about Potter being this, that, and the other, but what I see with my eyes is a bunch of players that have been told and trained to play in a certain way, and it's effective. If Brighton had, Mbappe, for example, right? Yeah, he had some chances. If Brighton had some more quality players that could finish chances, it'd be a lot higher up the table. That's a fact, right?
Yeah, that's
so.
true.
It's like you have to look at the way that they've been told to play, right? This is what gets me the most about it, right? Yeah, is that Jose came out in press conferences and said, "Listen, I told the players to play like this, and they decide to play like that. Why the hell are people pointing fingers at me?"
Yep, he tried saying it. He said, "I told them to go up, especially in the Europa League," and Loris backed him
fair
up.
enough. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. He can moan about it as much as he likes. But at the end of the day, he's responsible.
How?
Right?
They are humans with their. I have
That's
coached for over a decade.
I'm sorry, but you live by the sword as a manager.
No, just hear me out real quick. I know that makes sense logically, but as somebody who has coached for over a decade, I have been on the sideline with teams in which you know what to do, you know what's coming next.
I gotta leave. I gotta back. I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, take care.
I gotta take care of I gotta sleep right now. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit tired.
All right, man. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it.
Have a good one, man.
And people who are in the chat, if you want to come in the show, now's your chance. We got 3 guys left and about 30 minutes left. If you want to jump in, the link is at the top.
Yeah, guys, feel free to join in. Make sure you guys give a like, smash a like button on Will Stewart. He's doing a great job, very consistent. That's all we can ask for. And yeah, man. Again, my last prediction for the Sheffield game tomorrow. I'm not going for like a 2-1 or whatever. I'm going for a straight 2-0. I think there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to keep a clean sheet against McGoldrick. That strike force. No, we should be able to keep a clean sheet against Sheffield. 2-0. I'm gonna say Harry Kane with a brace. 1 penalty. Scores a penalty. And yeah, man. That's pretty much it. Everybody take care. Have a great stream.
All right, thanks for coming on. I do appreciate it, my man.
You too.
Yeah.
So about Harry Potter. He what I saw from the team playing today, right? They secured themselves a Premier League survival. This game that they played well, and they played as a team. There was a couple of players there that had opportunities to score goals, and they blatantly missed. You know
how I see it. At the start of the season, we had that exactly with the Spurs, right? They said they hit teams on the counter, defensively solid, until I don't know at what point, was it Levy or who said, you know what, let's try playing expensive football. And we also had that turn up. The team's not fit enough for it. So it was done at the start of the season for a good while. The team was structured, they had the mid-block all on, but then they wanted to play expensive football with other players. They should have played like West Ham did this season, and they would have been in that same spot that they are now. We don't have the players that are fit enough to do that.
See, the thing is that what you're saying there with the mid-block, right? Yeah, if you want to press a team high up, you got to do a mid-block, right? And that was the problem with Jose, is that basically if the players weren't supposedly fit enough, right, and they weren't pressing at the front, it's because the players behind them weren't creating the block.
Now, is that on the coach? If the coach yells on the sideline and say, do it, and the players are not, what is the coach supposed to do? Put on a shirt and go in?
Yeah, but look, I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. I get what you're saying about the coach, right? Yeah, but I've been at, you know, when I go out there on the streets and the places I've been to, right? Yeah, and I've seen other people trying to tell kids or teenagers what to do, and they don't do it. And I turn up and I have a way to talk to them, and they do what I do. This is what they call man management. And fair enough, I know that they're professionals. They're getting paid a lot of money. They should be listening to the coach and doing what he's doing. But when you're on a pitch, right, you know, the belief that you have, the desire to go out and go through brick walls, it comes from the relationship and the bond that you have with the players around you, the fans, and the coach.
So why is it that the best players that Jose Mourinho coach all back him?
Look, you're right about that. No, I'm not.
So how is that a man management issue when you can get the best players on the team to get behind you?
No, that is a man management. Let me explain.
Are you forced to get the fringe players?
No, I'll explain to you. Look, every person out there, right? Yeah, has a certain style. Every manager and coach has a certain style that he communicates with his players. Okay. Now,
what is Jose's style?
When Jose came to our team, I'm not trying to ignore that. When Jose came to our team, we had a tag called Spursy, correct? We saw it with our eyes. Now, if we have this tag, is that not the complete opposite of the type of players that Jose, has?
Like Will said, I think he signed with a plan, but COVID changed that plan. The transfer changed. I don't know what he agreed when he took on the contract, but then when he couldn't get the players he wanted his
maybe that's the case. But at the end of the day, I understand that, but I believe that he got outmaneuvered because Levy is an interfering, bald-headed sack of shit. And the players, right? Yeah, it's like for some reason, every time I say the players, I keep thinking of Winks. Right, which is wrong because there's probably other players out there which is like that. But I don't know. Look, ask yourself a simple question. For 10 years, 20 years, we've had players in our team that when it came to the crutch, I saw this beautiful game that Spurs played against Manchester United, and come half time we were 3-0 ahead. Come full time we lost 4-3, and Terry Sheringham was in that game.
Yeah, so is that on the coach?
No. What I'm saying is that why is it the coaches can go, the players can go, but that still remains?
Well, it's I have a theory about that because there is a thing with belief. It's gotten into the player's head because it's been going on for so long. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Spursy becomes a destiny, almost like. And the only way you change that if you change the players and the coach at the same time. You can't say our players are not good enough and yet blame the coach too. One more point I wanted to add. You take Bale, for example. When Bale was riding the bench at Madrid, nobody was telling those coaches about so-called man management. When Pep benches all these players, nobody talks about man management. It's silly. A coach is a leader. Yes, you work with people, and Jose has. That's the thing that the media tries to put in people's head. That is as a management. Everybody you talk to that has met the man in person says he's humble. He's not what he's portrayed to be. They came to him expecting one thing completely different. So we don't know his man management. We know what's out there in the thing. So again, when people say man management, this is in FIFA. People are humans. You can only do so much. He got Delhi to show up. I mean, what other coach do you know? Jose broke British quarantine law when the COVID first started. To took Ndombele to a park to get the guy in shape.
Right.
What else are you gonna say about the guy's man management? Is he supposed to get every player on that team to turn up? That's just ridiculous.
No, I agree with you. It's ridiculous, and that's the problem we have in the modern game right now. Okay?
No other coach is expected to do the same. I just gave you examples. Every other coach, when they have an issue with a player, they bench them or they get rid of them. But somehow Jose is expected to work magic with all these players. That doesn't make sense.
No, I agree with you. I think Jose was proper setup, and used as a scapegoat. Right? Why? Like, instead of spending money, right? They decided, you know what? Let's blame it all on Jose.
They got Rondon instead of Skriniar. They got Bergwijn. I know he's not a Jose player. They got Vinicius. He's not a Jose player. So all these people saying that he spends money, he's not picking these players. And if you don't give the players you want, it's like you going to a job, knowing what you want to do, knowing how to do it.
Look,
but somebody says, nah, you can use your tools. Good luck.
Look, personally, I would look. When I say to you about man management, I'm talking about style. I'll give you an example, right? Yeah, look at Fergie. Right? Like,
wait, Fergie was a dictator. He had full power. That's different.
So if you look at it, Beckham.
Got a big echo there again, teacher. Or coach.
Okay, so Beckham was in the changing room, right? Yeah, and Fergie turned around and he grabbed a boot and he threw it. All right, hit Beckham on the face. It was a very small, little teeny cut. Beckham decided to make it into a bigger looking cut and show it to the world. But the point was this: is that if that type of crap happened today, and it was known that a manager did that to a player, that's an assault charge.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So my point is this, right? Yeah, is that managers have different styles of communicating with their players. This is what we refer to as man management. Now, if I am a manager and I want Winks to play, or I want Winks to be in control, then I might employ some dirty tactics.
But how long?
That no one knows about.
I give you an example of Dele Alli. Did he get Dele to start playing when he first came in?
Well, the thing is at the end of the day is that Winks fills that quota of homegrown player and homegrown player in the club. So he fits two criteria, right? If you want to play in Europe, you have to have 8 players which are homegrown in the country, and out of those 8 players, 4 of those players have to be homegrown in the club itself.
Yeah, let me ask you one thing, Mr. K. When Pep and Klopp took over their team, how many of the players that were there are there now?
Sorry, who?
When Pep Guardiola and Klopp took over their teams, how many of the players that were there when they took over are still there now? And why didn't they manage those players to hit their style or get them better?
Coach, the problem we have with Tottenham Hotspur is that unlike where Pep went to, unlike where Klopp went to, they've got chairmen who are willing to turn around and say, "Oh, you want to play for 8? You want a defender for 80 million? Here you go. Here's 80 million."
But that's not what Jose wants. How much was Højbjerg?
No, first we have to sell Coutinho, right?
How much was Højbjerg?
Højbjerg was 15 million or something.
Is he a 80 million or $90 million player? He does the job Jose wants. What's to say he can't get another 5-6 players of that value, that quality? Nobody says big name players.
Is that Jose can say, I want this and I want that. And that's what he's done. He's wrote a list of what he wants. He's given it to upper management. Upper management didn't probably used it to wipe their ass, right? And they got their own agenda. And this is the issue that we have with Spurs. Me personally, I like Jose. I know for a fact that he's been getting stick in the media in this country, and the narrative that's been pushed about him is utter rubbish, 100%. I'm talking about one thing and one thing only, which is man management, which is basically you got to be a little bit more crafty if your job's on the line.
But again, though, you can't make everybody go along with you. He got
It's
the
not
key
fair.
players behind
It's
him.
not fair. No, I agree with you, Coach. It's not fair. But come to Britain and
No,
you'll
no, no.
see
As I'm not
there's so
saying
much crap.
fair or not. As I'm saying, okay, how many of these players do you expect him to manage? Every single one of those players that were infringed when Poch was here. I didn't hear and no I didn't hear nothing about Poch's man management when he was benching or so putting these players on the side.
I'm happy for Jose. I'm
No,
happy
not
for
even a
Jose to
Joseph
be.
thing. I'm just talking in general of a man
Yeah.
management. This is in FIFA or
Um,
football management.
Look, it shouldn't exist in the professional world, right? In the professional world, right? Yeah, players need to be professional. They don't need to be a bunch of crybabies. You know, some people need hard knocks, and some people need like a little pat on the bum. Some people need a little cuddle. It shouldn't be like that. They're professionals, right?
Yeah.
Out of the Premier League, we have a philosophy in our club where the players are getting, wrapped around in cotton, and for some reason, them crying seems to be more important, or they're being used as an excuse, or they think they can get away with it.
So how would you manage those players, or how would any coach manage those players? Because, like I said, he got Ndombele to turn around. He got Dele Alli
No,
to
that's not
turn around
quite
for a
true.
bit.
That's not quite true. Basically,
Wait.
right? Yeah, Levy, Dumbella, and Jose sat down together, and they
Mr. K,
worked it
I
out.
just told you there are pictures of Jose Mourinho and Ndombele and Sissoko at a public park when COVID was locked down. How are you going to tell me that's not his man management? What other coach have you seen training at a public park, not in your training facility, when the whole country is supposed to be on a COVID lockdown? If he goes that far for a player that people thought he hated, what makes you think he didn't go as hard for every other player on that team?
No, he didn't hate him, but the one thing he did turn around and say in the media when he first came in,
He said it wasn't fit.
No,
And
he
which
didn't
was
say that. He said this guy's injured. He goes, I've got myself a player that's just injured. That was the first thing. Forget the fitness. The fitness came second, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing he highlighted was the fact that Dumbola was an injured player. Why am I getting an injured player for? What am I supposed to do with that? That was actually his words coming out. No, listen, I have the utmost respect for Jose, and I don't think there's anyone in Spurs right that can even lace his boots. And I know for 100% that in the English media, there is 100% hate against him. They look for any excuse to push a narrative.
Well, it sells papers.
Man management, I'm saying to you that when your job is at stake, right, and your millions of pounds are involved, right, why can't you employ dirty tactics?
What do you mean by dirt? What do you mean by dirty tactics? Do you want him to kiss this player's boots?
It's very difficult for me to speak about that while we're online right now.
But
my point is this, right, is that I would use the. Has anyone seen the Twilight Zone? The movie?
I have.
Twilight Zone, the movie. There's an agency that helps people quit smoking, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what type of tactics do they employ to make sure the person doesn't smoke?
Wait. So what is Jose supposed to do that with players?
What I'm saying is, no, I'm sorry, but let's get back into the real world, right? Yeah. My point is, if someone can turn around and put a finger inside a box, right, and say this is your wife's finger, the next thing could be a head in there, right? Yeah. Are you going to quit smoking? And the guy will turn around and say, you know what? I quit smoking. My point is,
like you said, this is a real world. Is that legal right now? Does he have the power to do something like that?
Well, what's not? Well, one thing is for sure is real is the way that Jose got treated badly. That shouldn't have been allowed. There's been dirty tactics played against him, especially with Levy. So behind the scenes, we don't know what Levy's been doing with the players. They've been circumnavigating.
I don't think Jose has a man management problem.
Yeah,
I think the team is the problem.
Yeah, I agree with you. The team is the problem. But what I'm saying is that you have a manager who can push himself professionally forward to say, you know what, this is the players I've got to work with. I don't have a frigging choice.
And I think Jose gave up on the team.
That's my point is this, is that Jose began, he had to retreat into a corner because he could see what's coming.
Yep, he knows how to
Joe
win,
Roden
and he knows if you don't give him the tools, he's gonna lose. I would hate a situation like that too.
Trust me, Joe Roden came on board, right? Yeah, that was a sign to Jose.
And I think there's too much bad blood between the players.
Well,
the players not playing for them. They're not playing for each other. You can see that.
Yeah, you're right.
I think it's forget the players for 1 second. It's a relationship between Jose and Levy. If you think about it, it's like the number one thing that Jose would demand more than anything else is a very strong, powerful defender in the back. That's the first thing he would say. This is the number one player which I want.
Jose got conned by Levy.
That's the same issue at Man U.
So the point is that as soon as Rodon came on board, instead of some big defender,
Experience.
he can tell straight away the writing's on the wall. I'm getting shafted by Levy.
You know, I go back when Jose was at Man U. There was this old thing about man management. He told them what he needed, and what did they do? They blamed him, they fired him, and next year they went and got exactly what he needed. Same thing at Real Madrid. All these players he pushed aside, they said he got issue. The next coach that came in, what did they do? Get rid of those players. So this whole man management thing is silly. I don't really get a point of it because the coach, you are right, his job is on the line. But if you do everything you can, what are you supposed to do to a real grown human? We cannot brainwash people.
Coach, last night, while I'm on duty for 4 hours on Romford Road in Manor Park in East London, right? A father got stabbed in the neck, right? Yeah. A guy in the chip shop. There was about 15 boys that were attacking each other with machetes on the right. So in the world I live, right, it's forgotten by the rest of the world. It's forgotten by our government, and the dirty tactics that are being played out here to control or whatever with us is not real. It's not civilized. I have to talk to you guys in a civilized way, but my life is not living in a civilized world, and I'm in East London, right? So I don't think the way you guys do, thinking about professionalism. The year before, I was working for a financial bank in the city, and I can tell you the level of incompetence, the level of deviousness, the level of manipulation that I was involved, not personally involved, but I was subjected to. Right?
Kieran, you got a bit of there you go.
Echo.
So even though I was involved there, I still found a way to survive. My contract was meant to be 3 months. I managed to make it last 12 months. I did 4 different projects while I was there, while everybody was trying to stab me in the back, wait for me to trip up, put their foot in front of me, sabotage me, blackmail me, darken my name. But I had to think carefully about every step that I took.
So let me ask you one thing, Mr. K. So if Jose Mourinho, even simply by opening his mouth and saying that his team didn't play good enough, he gets slated, what dirty tactics are available to him? If even words are too much for these fragile little players, what is he supposed to do?
Fragile little players.
Well, not really. Like I said, the
first problem he had was with Dele, right? And he put his arm around Dele, right? Yeah. And he said, "Listen, you know what? It's like, are you Dele Ali or are you his brother?"
And Dele showed up for a while after that, and then he went back to the old Dele.
This, right? Yeah. Is that is a man management style there? Yeah, that's a style
for one player at one time. Yes.
No, but
why do we have two Kyrian?
Did you clone yourself, Kane?
Coach,
maybe that one's old.
Coach, yes. I'm with you on the fact that there is a lot of misinformation regarding whenever Jose is involved, right? There's a lot of misinformation regarding him, and his name, like I said, is constantly being tarnished by the media. He got stitched up by Levy. He had the rug pulled out of him by the players, disloyalty. And at the end of the day, he's the one that had to leave. And the reward of the players was that they get to play in a final and flop it.
Yep. And my question to you is, what else could he have done with the power he had?
What else could he have done?
Yes.
I don't think
get those players on board.
Anything else other than what he did.
So that's it. So then it's not man management. His power was limited.
He's not me though.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree with the framing of it as Jose kind of being at the mercy of Levy and his whim. You know, I think that it's very possible that both sides could have been equally responsible for the dysfunction. And I think
who signed the players? Who signed the players that are not Jose's players?
Coach has got a point there.
Yeah, I mean, Well, I mean, I don't think
the coach if you don't get him a player.
the signings are the only factor. I mean, yeah, sure. I think you put that one.
And that's
on
the
Levy,
only thing that really
there are other
counts. You need the
things.
players on the field.
Look,
I mean,
I get, Coach. I understand
I think
what
that
you're saying
Jose
there.
also, did a lot to ruin his relationship with a lot of.
How so? That's all media talk right there.
That is media
I
talk.
bet you when Jose walked in at Spurs, all these players had a mindset just based on what they heard on the media. Because I don't know how many interviews I hear of people saying, "Oh, he's completely different than what I thought. He's completely different." So most people have this image that's not real. So we are not there in person. We cannot say. We can guess based on stuff. And I listen to the great players that work in the ring.
Coach,
I'm gonna throw that up there for Bob.
Coach, I'm with you on the fact that myself personally, I respect Jose a lot. What I'm saying here is that in this particular situation, maybe he wasn't devious enough, maybe he wasn't callous enough, maybe he wasn't willing to break his own principles, right? In order for him to
he benched
survive.
Dele Alli and Bale.
Right.
He
So
benched Dele Alli, which ultimately might have cost him his job. He benched all these players that were not performing. So I'd say he was a lot of a cutthroat with that respect. He played the players he trusted, and he didn't have a full set of them. So he was forced to play one or two players to fill that first 11. That's why you saw the rest of the players not featured for ridiculous amount of times. Rose didn't even get a number. So we can't go and say that the guy is not ruthless. He is to the extent that he's able to. And to the guy on the...
Well, that's a mistake for a start. That's a mistake.
I think that's part of the problem.
Wait, how so?
I mean, we talk about he didn't have the players he wanted to play the system that he wanted. That he, stuck to his principles and played the players that performed into his system. But
what system?
But the thing is, when Jose came to Spurs, what did he say in those initial press conferences? That he wasn't going to change the identity of the club, that he was going to play positive attacking football, that he had rethought,
Let me ask you one question.
managerial processes in his time off, and yet
What's
from the first
the
game,
most important
we
thing
played
do you
low
need to
block
play
and
positive
counter
soccer?
with it.
What's the most important thing do you need to play positive soccer? And why did Pep Guardiola almost spend 300 million on his backline? You can't play expensive football if your backline cannot build the ball up. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And if your players don't move off a ball, good luck playing expensive. And that's basics. I can hop on any pickup game and know the basics. When I don't have a ball, move, show, open up, make runs. I don't need to know the team I'm playing with or even the players. That's just basic soccer. And these guys are a lot better than me at the pro level. So with simple stuff, moving off the ball, checking it. We have two defenders who sit in the 18-yard box when the keeper is going to take the kick. They offer no outlets. So it's ridiculous to say you want to play expensive football if you don't have the tools. There's a reason Pep spent 300 million on his backline. Without it, you cannot keep a ball. You cannot play soccer. Let's be honest there, right?
So my mom is watching the stream. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Mom's a Spurs fan as well. She just wanted to let me know that Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was the movie that had Exorcise the Demons. Exorcise the Demons.
Ace Ventura, huh? Yes, I haven't watched that in a while.
Yeah. But anyway, I just throw that out there.
Coach, I'm with you on the fact that an awful lot of stuff gets said about Jose, which blatantly isn't true. Okay, because it seems to me that all the best players say the best things about him, and all the ones that don't say nothing at all ain't good enough, and they seem to put their head down and not say nothing. Because none of the other players came out and tweeted nothing about Jose. Okay, they all got social media accounts. They could have said something. Thanks, boss. It was really great. Good luck. They could have all said that, right? But only a few, very few, that actually publicly went out and did it.
And Højbjerg.
Well, so now the interesting thing here is which are the players that didn't do this. So
guys, have you ever seen the post dressing room videos that's been posted out there after we lost, when the players were fighting with each other and Jose was like the middleman trying to calm everybody down.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's a bad man management guy. But it's just the team, I think, has been so shitty. Most of them, not all of them. I think Jose just thought that even if you sack me, I will go.
No, but that is what I'm talking about. Man management. I'm not saying his management style and his way he talks to players is not good. I'm just saying that with the bunch of players that we had, it didn't work with them.
Yeah.
So
I remember the Man City game against Spurs,
right? Yeah.
When he had a deal with what's his name? Mourinho. If he shut down Sterling, he'll get him a steak or something.
Portuguese. He brought some.
The ham.
Yeah, so
the Portuguese ham. Yeah, 500 pounds. He was saying.
Show me the guy is flexible in his man management. There's not one way you deal with every player. I haven't seen that because Jose has dealt with a lot of different players, from the biggest ego to the smallest.
Okay, so what did he look?
Will, could you bring back Bob's first comment?
Sure.
But what did Jose do in 18
There's like
months?
3. I think he's talking to you guys. The one where he asked the question, or this statement here?
I think with question, that was the one. What has he achieved?
He had a question for the whole panel here. He said, "Will, please ask the panel what did the one of the decorated and well-paid manager get right in 18 months?"
Almost as much as Posh did in 5 years in getting to the final.
Do they think how a player is treated by their peers has no relevance on performances?
Look, I got fed up of arguing like this point left right with the fan base. I just gave up with it because it became mute. I realized that I couldn't change the mind of certain types of fans, so I just gave up on the fact, and I said, "Forget it. I'm moving on." Right? I trust me.
We have to move on from the Jose thing.
I tried arguing every single point there is right here in terms of the fact that the media bias out there, the deviousness of some of the players, the relationship of Levy slipping behind the players, the agents of the players getting in Levy's ears. You know, I've been through a lot of this type of stuff, and in the end, I just gave up because I want to see crap comments all the time. Right?
Well, Mr. K, my point on this one is
nobody knows. None of these fans know diddly squat about what the reality was that Jose had to face behind the scenes, and they just come out with malarkey. Right? They just turn around and say, you know what, name this, name that, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying to you that if you are at the top game, you got to find a way. And
he did at the start of the season, and the fans were complaining about boring football.
Now listen to me. Jose is a winner. He came across one club, this club, where he could not find a way to win. Whatever he had to do in order to get it done, he couldn't find a way to get it done with these players.
But is that true, though? He was doing it at the start of the season. That system changed. If he goes back to sitting and countering...
I agree with you. He's a really brilliant guy. I'm just saying to you, he couldn't find a way.
But I just said that's not true. Because he was at the start of the season. And then it only changed when the fans and Levy demanded expensive football.
Expansive football? No. He went
opened up.
He knocked 6-1 past Man United.
Yes, and exactly playing sitting back, absorbing and hitting them.
My point is that when West Ham hit 3 past us in 9 minutes.
Oh, that was the downfall.
Yeah. Right, so again,
this is when Jose decided, you know what, I can't take this. I'm going to do something with the team now. I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. He changed his tactics.
He Jose or is he Levy? We don't know. Same thing I said about the Mason lineup in the cup final. We don't know.
My point is, he came out and he said, "Listen,
maybe Levy didn't want us to be the top of the table."
No, forget.
He didn't want boring football because he was lining up for that Super League.
No, forget all that. He turned around to the reporters and he said, "This hurt, and I want the players to feel this pain." Right? This is what he said, and he changed the style a little bit after that. He wasn't being so expensive anymore. He decided, you know what, I'm going to bring it back a bit. The problem was this, is that he's talking, that this might have worked in any other team on the planet. but he wouldn't work with our players and with the upper management that we have in our club and with some of the fan base that we have, right? I've not seen loyalty towards certain players that have given everything for the shirt. And I've heard disgusting comments about certain types of players by the fan base, and they're still talking about it today, right? Some of the stuff that we've said about certain players who put their whole life into this club is disgusting, right? It's callous, right? And they just turn around and say, you know what? So we're not going to argue with you on this because I agree with you in essence what you're saying. My point to you is, if you're a winner, you got to find a way to win with whatever crap you've got in your hands.
That's not real.
That's not what. It's not fair.
Realistic though, is it now? Because Pep didn't do that.
No,
Klopp
they didn't need to do that.
Huh? No,
They
no.
did
I'm
not
not
need to do that.
saying whether it's fair or not. I'm not.
You bring Pep to
That's why the
Tottenham.
top players have it.
No, but seriously, you bring Pep or Klopp to Tottenham.
No. I'm just saying it as a general. Don't bring Pep or Klopp into it. Give a guy a chance to build his team.
No, but they didn't though. That's the point. They didn't give Poch a time. They didn't give Poch the ability to do so.
Every other coach
to do so.
gets a chance to build their team.
No, they didn't give him the chance to do so. Right? That's the point. That's the point. He did not get the support from front or behind.
Yeah, so how is this supposed to work with what he doesn't want to work with? What he found. If you know players will not do it, how are you going to magically make them do it? That's just silly. You've already...
It is silly. But the point is, at the end of the day, if there's anyone on the planet that could change the mentality of our players, because the biggest problem that we had in our club was the mentality and the backbone of the players, the Spursy tag, right? If we were going to bring any coach on the planet to solve that one problem, it was going to be this guy, right? So the fact that he couldn't get it done, it tells me that the system is corrupt, rotten to the core, and it's not just inside the Spurs board itself, it's also in the fan base, it's also in the media, and it's definitely in the players.
Yeah, and the thing with saying that he had to find a way to win, like Kane said in his interview, Jose has been working on that final for over a month. He never got the chance.
I'm not listening to it today. Right? Leave it alone, Bob. I don't want to hear about your 9 players.
What's happening to the stream?
I don't want to hear about the 9 players. Right? This is rubbish, man. I've been getting this thrown at me every single time. 9 players, my ass.
Wait, what do you mean?
It's one of the arguments that we get. It's one of the arguments we get. I told you, I don't want to be talking about Jose. I said this about 2 hours ago. Because we're going to come back to this point again. Where
so let's move on to Sheffield United.
Or Will.
Yeah, Sheffield United.
Yeah, quick question.
My favorite Sheffield United is, remember Newcastle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
Newcastle no, Newcastle got relegated. Was already in relegation, and they whipped us.
6-1? 5-1.
5-1.
Sorry,
yeah,
5-1.
something like that.
What was the consequence of us getting beaten 5-1? Did Arsenal go ahead of us by 1 point?
One last point I'll bring up. So, Mr. K, have you guys seen how
coach is lagging?
And why is that? Because they lost 2 center backs. And they have all their 9 players that just won the Champions League and the EPL. They lost Van Dijk and Matip, and their team's gone 1 now, 7th place. And that's a team that's already proven that they can win the Champions League. They won the...
Coach is lagging.
You're breaking up. I think you're lagging out, man.
11 players on a team. If you don't have that, regardless of how good of a coach you are, it's silly to think that you're going to do magic. Pep himself said it. I am the best coach in the world because I get the best players. And he's honest about it, so I respect him for that. He came out and said it on his interview. Yeah, I just don't get this idea that, okay, you can go to a club, any club, just take these players and make them special. If they could, some players you can improve.
Coach, what it is, right, yeah, in the UK, with the way the mentality is, right, yeah, is that it's not as straightforward as that. And this is what I'm talking about, that you have to change your tactics slightly, right? Yeah, when you're facing these type of deviousness that exists.
What's happening to my stream? Here, let me.
Yeah, it's basically a level of incompetence covered in deviousness, right? That we have, which is very different compared to somewhere else in the world, and that's the issue, right? You know, so when I say to you that he failed in management, what I'm saying is the one thing you should always have as a manager or as a coach is the players on your side. You need to find a way, whatever the way is. You need to find a way to get players on your side.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. K.
I think Jose's tactic is that he pushes, and then when you fall, you're supposed to get up and push back, right? But our players, when he push, they fall and they cry and stay down. That's the mentality problem of our players, right? Jose likes to push and get the best out of you. But if you fall, he knows that you're wasting his time, I think.
I think Jose made a mistake of trying to change when he came to Spurs, right? Before the previous type of Jose, right? Yeah,
he was hard.
Mess with their head, right?
Push them and psycho them, and
it's like when you look at the interviews of some of the players that he had in Porto, right? Yeah, they said to you, they said this guy was crazy. He'll come in and say, it's your fault that we lost this game. You're not going to be here tomorrow. And the player's sitting there getting confused. What the hell is he talking about? And the following day, he's playing in the game. And he went and scored a couple of goals. So Jose has a way, but he changed that way when he came to Spurs. He tried to be nice. And unfortunately,
because that's the media's been drawing him up to be that bad guy. And since Chelsea, I mean, Real Madrid, and
this was an interview by the actual players themselves. They said, you know what? He confused the heck out of us, but it worked.
Yes. Okay. A question.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We are 3 hours and 15 minutes into this stream. I'm about to pass out.
Agree, man. I will. Anyone got predictions before we go?
Yes, prediction. Let's do predictions and talk a little bit about maybe it's starting lineup. Who would you like to see start? I think we can go for another 15 minutes. So who would you like to start? Starting lineup and prediction, and then we'll do that for the four of us, and then we'll kick out.
All right.
But only because people asked for it in the comments. Just like the Bible says, ask and you shall receive. Available right now at THFCRants.com.
Nice. I like it. Well, get those moon boots with my man boobs.
Moon boots. That's how quick
Shall
it
I go
is.
first?
Quick. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Will. Firstly, is the racism show. Good show, right?
Thank you.
I need to do a shout out. My wife is from Myanmar.
Okay.
If you're aware of the Myanmar situation,
yeah.
So I just have to say a shout out to the CDM, the Civil Disobedience Movement, and hopefully they can get through all that nonsense with the general taking over and all that and killing all the people. And while the world just sits down and watch it, so like I said, the whole world is corrupt now. So what's football, right? Hope you're doing another show on the racism thing, I will, and maybe the next time I can get on and tell you my story about my country, Malaysia. It's really bad here. Okay, for team selection, gosh, I think Levy will pick the team. He'll put out all his window dressing players and hopefully try to sell them, right? To try to sell them and hopefully we don't screw up. But as a Spurs fan for 40 over years, I will still say, come on you Spurs, give us a 2-0 win.
Nice.
100%.
Well, for me, I'm just hoping to see how we start tomorrow. Yep, I'm hoping Ndombele comes back in the team. And that's really the biggest difference I'll see. And go back to our first lineup, the one that you can bring back all the world with Dyer, because that's pretty much the best way you have Ronaldo back. Or you can put Alderweireld and Rondon, which I wouldn't mind either. And on the left, you have Reggie. So on the right, as I would keep on playing Tanganga. Because, I mean, he's only going to get experience from it. And Oreo still, like I said, like Jose said, the guy, he always has one bad foul in him. And you can only risk that so many times. Our downside is we still don't have players that like to move off the ball. And if you don't do that, it's really, really hard to be fluid. Yeah, but I'm going to go and guess, like, yeah, something like David said, a 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. Mr. K, did you already go?
No, I'm going to tell you straight. We're going to absolutely smash this B team right here to absolute pieces. All of a sudden, these players that couldn't pass 2 balls together are suddenly going to find their boots, become professionals, and knock 4-1 past Sheffield United's B team. Honestly, I believe it. I can feel it coming. I've been saying it for a while. 4-1. Eventually, I'm going to get it right. Come on, you Spurs.
I like it.
Come on, you Spurs.
Hey, Billy, if I'll back you up on that, Billy.
For me, the people who I'd like to see start is I'm going to mute you while I do that because there's a big echo. I would like to see I want to see Mora in the 10 again. No more Winks. No more Sissoko. Son, Kane, Bale, Mora, Ndombele, Højbjerg, Reguilon, Toby, Rodin, Aurier. That's who I want to do it. And then I'll unmute you now because
it looks like a good team.
That's what I want to see play. Why not? Why do we play the team every week? I don't understand.
I mean, that's what
because Levy chooses the team. That's why.
He's an idiot.
Look, we still love this club, right? And there's got to be some hope at the end of the light of the tunnel. And having, so many Spurs groups come up means there's a lot more debate about it. There's certain issues that we're going to find hard to address, but other issues we'll be enlightened on. So, you know what? I believe we're going to smash them 4-1. I believe the players can do it. Some of them may not be around after summer, so let them get as many kicks in as they can.
That's a good point.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys very much for coming on the show tonight. I'm going to kick you out so I can do my outro.
Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Final words. Go around the circle again. Final words, except for me. So, Mr. K, if you have any final words for the night.
I think everyone out there, if you haven't smashed a like already, please do so. Share if you can. But the main thing is that let's stop arguing about certain points with each other. Let's start finding areas where we can agree upon, because all this division really doesn't help. And we're going to be very stubborn about it. We're going to be very emotional about it. But right now, the fan base needs to come together. That's the most important thing. The club doesn't care about us in terms of management. The players didn't care about us when it mattered. But the fan base, we've got to start caring about each other, because we're still going to be there after these players are gone. And if the upper management goes, we're still going to be there, because that's what it means to have love for something. You go through it thick and thin. And having channels like, for example, Will's channel over here, or the Irish Hotspur, or Matt's, or Chris Cowlin, or even the 2 boys in Tottenham TV, Paxton Road, Bob Spur. You know what? Even Bob Spur, 99% of what he says I agree with. Maybe the one thing that we're going to get stuck on, but fine, that doesn't matter. The main thing is find areas that we can agree with each other. And that's going to be the way forward for all the fan groups and us, because there certainly ain't going to be delight on the field sometimes. Right? So come on, you Spurs, tomorrow. Knock 4-1 past that little group.
I don't know, but I agree. And then Eugene, what you got, my man? Final thoughts.
We have to move forward from all these things that's going around. Like you said, DV can go, the players can go, but the fans will still be here. But we must find a way to move ahead, or like I said, maybe even accept we are just mediocre in the end of the day. But of course, we don't want that. I mean, like, waiting so long for trophies and all the things to come by, but I don't think we'll be getting it in with this group of people running the club. The fans have to unite, and not only just Spurs fans. I think all football fans around the world. We have to show that we can push them to a certain extent to do something correct. Everything now is wrong. But come on, you Spurs. We're going to beat them tomorrow.
For sure. Coach, what you got? Are you there, Coach?
Oh, yes, I am.
Yeah. What are you? Any final thoughts?
Well, first thing I want to say, Will, thank you for hosting this. I really appreciate it. And Mr. K, thank you for the discourse. As I know, we had a bit of a back and forth, but like you said, a lot of the things you said, I completely get with, and I just hoping that Spurs they can come up and finish this season strong. Hoping for the best.
I agree.
And everybody out in the comments, hit that like button.
Subscribe. I'll finish your sentence for you there, Coach. It sounds like you froze up for a second. Subscribe to the channel. Like and subscribe to the channel. Guys, I'm going to jump you off so that I can get this outro. I'm going to pull you out. You can stay in the back if you'd like. Yeah. We are ending the show tonight with THFC Rants. Just got to say, I'm going to go buy that shirt right there because that's killer right there. Moon boots. David, I'm sorry. I'll give you a cut, my man. But that's just too cool. I'm gonna have to buy that for myself. Yes, I have to buy my own merch because I don't actually have the shirt here. I have to buy it just like you guys do. But yeah, guys, go ahead. Hit that subscribe button. Just remember the things that we've gone over today. Thank you very much for the 500 subscribers. That was great. I appreciate that. It's been a great show. Remember, tomorrow night we are going post-match. Hopefully it's a positive rant. My score prediction for tomorrow will be 3-0. 3-0 is what I'm going for. I'm confident for tomorrow. I think it's going to be an easy one. Remember that we do have THFCRants.com. That's where you can get all the merch. I got the Moon Boots shirt up there. We got Man Smell, Moon Boots, Enoch Out. No profit margin on the Enoch Out stuff. Right now, the best seller at the shop is the Bald and Bearded Tottenham Boys Show shirt. That is the hot item. Also, too, right here, you got patreon.com, THFC Rants. It's $5, $10, or £4 and £8. So if you'd like to help support the channel out and get my big, giant, tall bum over to the UK to watch a match, that's the way that you can help that. All the money from Patreon is going into the stadium fee. And yeah. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. If you enjoy the show, make sure to share it with your friends. Let your friends know. Let your friends know that there is this show out there that is filled with funny noises, sounds, and crazy characters. Before and after every Tottenham match, and sometimes on midweek. It just depends on what's going on. This week was a really busy week, so we didn't do a midweek rant. But we will be here for tomorrow, and it's the post-match shows where everybody comes out of the woodwork. You've got the likes of Marcelo, Brian Daigle, the Irish Hotspur, Cody Mack, Mr. K. Maybe even Bob Spur will stay up late tomorrow night. Who knows? I'm telling you, all your favorites come crawling out of the woodwork for the post-match show. And yeah, it's a good one. But that being said, we have done 3 hours and 23 minutes. We have gotten 47 likes on the stream over that time. If you haven't liked that yet, go ahead and hit that. As well as we have picked up 2 new subscribers tonight. So thank you very much for that. And if you're watching after the fact, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's free. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Stay strong. Stay Spurs. We're on that intro. Outro. Intro, outro. Video. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go now.